The autumn sunshine was filled with a sense of slightness at the high school campus, like the endless cold wave in Wang Lin's heart. He stood at the door of the teaching building with his heavy bookcase on his back and took a deep breath. On the first day of the school transfer, it was a new beginning, but to him, this place was like a blank test paper, waiting for him to fill it with sweat and anxiety. Wang Lin rubbed his son's vagina and recited his father's instructions last night in his brain. "Son, I'm in my 3rd year of high school. It's the right thing to do to get a good college entrance exam. Don't be distracted." He opened the classroom door, and there were already people sitting inside. The rustling sound of the flipped books and the fine friction of the pencils plodded over the air. The blackboard was densely filled with mathematical formulas, and the students at the window wrote English words with a low head. Even their breathing seemed to be depressed. Wang Lin found a seat in the corner to sit down, feeling like a lonely boat sailing into the center of the storm. The classmates around him occasionally raised their heads and glanced at him, with curiosity in their eyes, and more exhausted. He heard that this class is in school generalized operation of the age of school general, and the pressure of upgrading is like an invisible network, covering everyone. "New classmate? Welcome, I am the class leader Kuyu." A crisp voice came from the lecture station. Wang Lin raised his head and saw a girl with a horsetail walking over. Her smile was warm and her eyes were crescent. "I'm from the next city, Wang Lin." He smiled embarrassedly, his fingers unconsciously pinched the bag. Kuyu clicked the head and gave him a class. "Don't be nervous, everyone is the same. In the 3rd year of high school, just grit your teeth and go through it. If you have any questions about lunch break, come to me." Her words were like a warm current, but Wang Lin still felt empty in his heart. The sound of the bell in the classroom sounded, and the nerves of everyone were raised during class. He buried his head tightly into the course, and his brains formed a group. The mathematical question came like a monster, and he tried to solve it, but he couldn't concentrate it no matter how hard he was. The anxiety is like autumn leaves, falling pieces and piled up into mountains. The lunch break finally started, and the classmates discussed the topic together. Some people didn't even leave their seats and just lay on the table to chew bread. Wang Lin rubbed his eyes and walked out of the classroom, looking for a peaceful place to get some air. On the forest road in the campus, the fallen leaves were rolled up by wind, making a gentle rustling sound. He walked around without destination, and the studio in his hometown was floating in his brain, and the smell of the materials there always made him forget his worries. But now, the painting is far away from the sky and the exam is close to you. He leaned against the tree and closed his eyes and said, "Why did you turn to school in your senior year? How did you live like this? Hey, new classmate. You look like you've lost your soul." A lively voice came from the side. Wang Lin clammed his eyes and saw a girl with short hair standing far away, holding a piece of painting in her hand. She was wearing a school uniform, her sleeves rolled up, and her face was stained with blue colors, like a skin-toned essence. "I am Yutong, from the art club. Why, it's so stressful that I want to escape from class." She blinked, her language as light as the laughter in the autumn wind. Wang Lin was stunned for a moment and shook his head. "No. It's just a little unsuitable. Everyone in this school seems to be just thinking about learning." Yutong smiled and walked closer. "Who said no? The air in the 3rd year of high school is almost frozen. But our art club is an exception. Come and visit, right? The lunch break is just around the corner, so I guarantee that you will forget those formulas." She pulled his arm, and acted naturally like an old friend. Wang Lin hesitated and thought that there was no place to go anyway, so he clicked and said, "Okay, let's take a look." The art club's activity room is behind the teaching building, an old house with a sign of free creation hanging on the door. Pushed in, and a scent of mixed materials and wood came over the surface. The interior light is soft, and the sunlight flows through the large windows, illuminating the scattered painting racks and piles of paintings. Several students were surrounded by a large cloth, some people smeared the materials, some people wiped them with their fingers, and laughter and music were integrated. Wang Lin's eyes lit up. This place looked like a secret green, forming a clear contrast with the pressure in the classroom. Hello everyone, this is the newly transferred Wang Lin. Yutong's loud introduction attracted a few curious gazes. A boy shook his hands. Welcome. Come and try wiping the cloth. This is our event today. Bring your mood to ensure that you can relieve the pressure. Yutong gave Wang Lin a tube of material and brush. Don't be civil and start with a simple way. Imagine your pressure as color, and you will be liberated when you get it out. Wang Lin took the brush and his fingers shook slightly. He stared at the blank painting, and the anxiety in his heart was like a tide. Strange classrooms, exams, lonely feeling. He closed his eyes, and the autumn scenery of the campus was floating in his brain. The golden apricot leaves fell, the balls on the playground were swaying in the wind, and the teaching building far away was hidden in the mist. His fingers moved unconsciously, and he pulled out orange and dark blue colors and danced on the painting cloth with a brush. At first, it was just a casual smear, but gradually, a wonderful warm current flowed out from the bottom of my heart. His golden finger talent quietly touched, and his emotions burst out like materials. On the painting, autumn leaves are no longer rigid lines, but are alive with a layer of laces, with golden light shining between the leaves. The clouds in the blue sky are uncertain, like his thoughts. The campus wheels far away are blurred and lively, hidden in a lonely blue tuft, and are lighted by the warm sun. The more he painted, the more he became. The sound around him seemed to be far away, leaving only the close conversation between the brush and the painting. When he stopped, the painting was completed, a school park full of emotions, with leaves rustling in the wind, and the sky was blue and pleasant. Wang Lin was stunned by his own silence. Is this his painting? It is not just an image, but more like a window, reflecting the inner tugs and desires. Wow, was this painted by Wang Lin? Yutong came over, her eyes glaring round. Oh my god, this autumn leaf is so vivid. Look at this time, it seems like it is really falling. Your talent is simply the treasure of the art club. Her praise was like an encouragement rain spot, hitting Wang Lin's heart. His face was red, and for the first time he felt the flame of confidence ignited in his chest. It turns out that paintings can release pressure like this and turn the solitary into power. Members around also came up, and some people clapped their hands. It's so bad. It's much stronger than me. Wang Lin smiled, and his heart was silent. Maybe this is not a prison, but an exit. While sharing the painting, the door suddenly came to the sound of footsteps. Kuyu walked in, holding a notebook in her hand. Yutong, I'll borrow some pictures. Hey, this picture? She stared at the painting, her eyes turned from surprise to appreciation. Wang Lin, is this your painting? The campus in the painting is so familiar and feels so good. Those leaves are like talking about our troubles in the third year of high school, but the sunlight in the end gives hope again. Kuyu's voice was gentle. She approached Wang Lin and patted his shoulder lightly. I understand the new arrival. Join the society, right? Learning is very stressful, and art can help you balance. There is a learning group in the class. I can bring you in and fight together. Wang Lin looked at her sincere eyes, and the embarrassment in her heart melted like ice and snow. Kuyu's resolution made him feel that he was no longer an outsider. Thank you, Kuyu. I'll try. Yutong jumped up excitedly. Great. Wang Lin, welcome to join. Next time we will paint together, wishing you your debut. As the sun sets west, Wang Lin walks out of the activity room. The autumn wind blows on his face, bringing the fragrance of the material. He touched the bookcase and thought to himself, maybe this redirection is not the end, but the beginning of the new painting. Tomorrow, there are more waiting to be wiped. The next morning, Wang Lin walked into the classroom with his bag on his back, and the sunlight shone in from the window, causing the pink characters on the blackboard to flash white. The air still had the damp earthy smell after the rain last night, and the aroma of buns from my classmates' breakfast made him feel that this place was not so strange. As he sat down, Kuyu turned from the front row, and the tail shook lightly. Wang Lin, morning. Did you continue painting when you came home last night? The art club had an event at noon today. You can officially join. I will register you. Her voice was as light as the morning wind. Wang Lin clicked his head, and a warm feeling surged in his heart. Thank you, Kuyu. I'm looking forward to it. The noise in the classroom rose. Some people discussed last night's work, some people recited the lyrics in a low voice, and Wang Lin also took out the course and tried to keep up with the rhythm. Although the formula is still a mess, he feels he is no longer an outsider. The first class is mathematics. The teacher flew on the blackboard and wrote a quadratic image of the function, and the crispness of the pink knocking in the classroom. Wang Lin stared at the curves, his brain buzzing, and last night's paintings were still wandering around his fingertips, distracting him. When the next class was being promoted, Kuyu patted his desk. Wang Lin, the monthly exam is coming soon, and the class needs to be divided into small groups. What's your math? Ziyuan is a learning genius in our group. His efficient memory is extremely harmful and can help you. Wang Lin blinked. Ziyuan? It sounds good. Kuyu smiled and took him to the back row to find someone. Ziyuan sat by the window, the sun shining on his bad hair. He was painting the subject with his head lowered, and the tip of the pen rustled on the paper, like a precision machine. Kuyu introduced, Jifu, this is the newly transferred Wang Lin. We are 3 of us in one group to prepare for the monthly exam. Jifu raised his head. His eyes were as sharp as a keel, and he glanced at Wang Lin. Oh, new? Okay, but you have to learn it seriously. I am in my 3rd year of high school, and I have no time to waste. His words went straight, carrying a hot and bloody atmosphere. Wang Lin pointed out, I will work hard. The 3 of them discussed the first topic together, and Ziyuan flying quick explanation. Look, here is the matching method, x superscript 2 plus 4x plus 4 equals x plus 2, superscript 2. Remember the formula and memorize it carefully. Wang Lin tried to keep up, but the color of the material in his brain was flashing. He said unconsciously, this curve is like a river, winding and twisting. If it is painted. Xiao browed and knocked him down. What painting should I do? The art club thing distracts my energy. Our class took the exam last month, and whoever went to play the society would fall off. In my senior year, the brain was equipped with formulas, not materials. Wang Lin was stunned, his face turned red. The private words of classmates around him seemed to be pierced in his heart. He lowered his head and tightened his pen. I'm not wasting time. But painting can make me concentrate. Ziyuan hummed, concentration? Then what do you do in math? It took 2 weeks to get the monthly exam, and I couldn't regret it after failing the exam. The air suddenly solidified, and Kuyu rushed in, and the voice was calm and calm. Ziyuan, don't say that. Wang Lin just turned around, and everyone helped each other. Okay. Art can also help with learning. I heard that some people use image memory formulas. In this way, our 3-person group decided, Jifu focuses on mathematics and memory. Wang Lin, you try to use painting to help visualize, and I will discuss. I went to the library in the afternoon. Will you please? Jifu curled his lips, but he said, okay, but it must be effective. Wang Lin's heart was full of turmoil, and the friction was like a group of irritating, but he pointed, okay, I'll try. At noon, Wang Lin and Yutong went to the art club to register. In the activity room, the flavor of the material was as scattered as a small storm. Half-dry paintings were scattered on the painting stand, and the speakers in the corners of the wall played light pop songs. Yutong gave him a table excitedly. Sign up. It's a formal member. I heard Kuyu say you and the group are a little troubled. Ziyuan's guy was overblown with blood. He always thought learning is everything. She blinked and passed a blank painting. Use this one as an auxiliary tool. Those who learn the theme may help. The paintings in the society belong to everyone, and they are easy to use. Wang Lin took the paintings and felt rough and thought to himself, maybe this proves that art is not a burden. Yutong patted his shoulder. Come on, new friend. Everyone will understand what you think after painting it. In the afternoon, the air in the library was fluttering, and the ink fragrance of old paper was scented in the bookshelf, and the autumn leaves rustled outside the window, as if they were in a whispering secret. The 3 of them found a table in the corner, and Qiu opened the note. From math, you can talk about the topic first. Ziyuan pointed out, and recommended Wang Lin a difficult three-dimensional question. Try it, this is the hot spot for the monthly exam. Space vector, remember the coordinate formula. Wang Lin stared at the topic, his brain stuck, and the formula was like a pile of loose sand. He took a deep breath and took out the painting cloth and several colored pens from his bookcase. I try to paint it out. Jian rolled his eyes and said, come again? The library is not a painting room. Qiu encouraged, it's okay to read the painting. Wang Lin closed his eyes and the formula in his brain was no longer a boring symbol, but came alive. His golden fingers are surging, and his emotions are transformed into lines. He used blue pendants to outline a three-dimensional space, like a three-dimensional castle. Red arrows represent vectors, shuttled from the castle walls, and curled like rivers, bursting sparks at intersections. The coordinate axle turned into a metal path, extending into an uneven blue sky. On the painting, the topic is no longer abstract. The edge of the castle is the path to the formula, and each step marks the color levels, visually like an adventure map. The touch of his fingers filled with the materials made him excited, and there seemed to be a little more creative heat in his air. After painting, Wang Lin recommended it to Ziyuan. Look, the vector here is like a bridge beam, connecting 2 points. The folding method is optimized, and the memory is like walking. Ziyuan wanted to complain, but stared at the painting. His eyes changed. He leaned closer, his eyebrows stretched out. Wait, the space relationship is so straightforward. It turns out that vectors are not dead, but dynamic. My memory is always stuck in visual blindness. This picture is added. He grabbed the pen, added a few pens on the painting cloth, and said excitedly, yes, that's it. Qiu, look, we will work together to solve this topic, from point A to point B. The difference in vector is. Qiu's eyes lit up. Wow, Wang Lin, this picture is straightforward as a magic weapon. Ambition, you just pushed that step super fast. The three of them discussed the painting and the sound of Ziyuan changed from doubt to heat. I admit that it's wrong. Art is not dispersed, but helping. Wang Lin, this painting helps me to optimize my memory. Now the formula is like a map, and it is clear at a glance. Wang Lin smiled, and the ending in his heart opened like the material on the painting and said, thank you. It turns out that we can complement each other. The group had a tacit understanding. They worked together to overcome the difficult question, and the answer was a little bit like a small victory. Qiu clapped her hands. That's great. Continue, the next question. During the discussion, Yutong suddenly sent a message to Wang Lin. The community is waiting for you. How is the painting cloth used? After replying, he took advantage of Zhihao and Qiu to borrow the book and sneaked to the small flower house outside the library. The autumn wind blew, carrying the sweet fragrance of osmanthus. Yutong leaned on the column and waited for him. Why, the pressure is getting stronger. Wang Lin sat down and rubbed the sun's acupoint. I just quarreled with Ziyuan. He said that art wasted time. But now, I have drawn a learning picture and helped me. My heart was ashamed of my heart. Art and academics should be balanced, right? Why do you always feel two difficulties? Yutong giggled. Yuan, he is a good person, so he is stubborn. I remember when I was in my second year of high school, I felt that painting was useless, and a painting saved my math score. I opened my heart and said, what happened before you turned to school? Wang Lin hesitated and finally opened. The pressure in my hometown is small, but when I turn here, it feels like I'm falling into the deep and clean. Painting is my life-saving straw. I'm afraid of being treated as escape. Yutong gently touched his arm. It's not escape, it's strength. Friendship is like this, and we'll wipe the blanks together. In the community, everyone is like you, and they're still persistent in creating in the third year of high school. Come on, hug you. I wish you to resolve the friction. She opened her arms, and Wang Lin hugged her back awkwardly and warmly. Friendship is like autumn sun, full of joy. He felt his heart open slightly, and the lonely chill was gradually melted by the warmth. When I returned to the library, it was already dusk, and the sunset was swept through the window and dyed the book page. The three continued to discuss, and Ziyuan gave Wang Lin a note. let me borrow my memory note. Add your paintings, there is no enemy. Kuyu concluded, the first day of the group was so smooth. Wang Lin, you are super awesome today. Wang Lin looked at the color on the painting, and his confidence in his heart was as sure as a painting. Maybe, this is the starting point of growth. The discussion was in the library, and the shadow of the monthly exams seemed to fade a little. The sunlight in the afternoon went from the windows of the art club activity room, like golden materials scattering on the floor, reflecting the scattered frames and the small foils floating in the air. Wang Lin pushed the door in, holding the small cloth he drew in the library yesterday afternoon. The blue color left on it looked like an unfinished battle map. The interior was already hot, and several members of the group were surrounded by a huge white cloth, whispering happily. Some people were holding the tubes and making a slight sound, mixing the balls from the playground outside the window to fill the entire space with vitality. Yutong came to the first time. Her short hair was slightly irritated by the wind, and her eyes were shiny. Wang Lin, you are here. Today is our community's first plastering cloth event. The theme is Suppressive Big Bottle, which is dedicated to relieve stress for senior high school students. Kuyu, I asked her. She was originally sarcastic and said that the learning group had a mock exam, but after hearing that you were super amazing in painting, she replied. Wang Lin smiled, and the tight feeling in his heart that had been on the first day of school seemed to be a little relaxed in this familiar flavor of the flavor. He looked in the room. Most of the 10 members were from senior high school, and they were tired of writing on their faces. Some were turning their heads down and some leaning against the wall powerlessly. Kuyu walked over from the corner. Ma Tai shook lightly, holding a literal book in her hand. Wang Lin, Yutong said that this activity can help her brainstorm. I will try it. The simulation exam starts at 3 p.m., and I will rest now. Her voice was filled with a slight hesitation, but there was expectation in her eyes, like autumn leaves shaking in the wind, eager to take root. Yutong clapped her hands and attracted everyone's attention. Okay, sisters and brothers. The life of senior high school is like a marathon. What should I do if my legs are soft when I run halfway through? Brush the cloth. Pull the pressure up and turn it into a rainbow. Wang Lin, you are the newcomer king, come and show your sight first. She passed a tube of dark gray material and wide brush. Wang Lin took it and touched the ice-cold metal tube, and her heart beat faster. His success in the library yesterday made him feel more conscientious. He stared at the blank painting, and the shadow of the exam was flooded in his brain. The endless trials were piled up like mountains, the errors outlined by red pens were covered with blood, and the hourglass of time passed by heartlessly. He took a deep breath, his golden fingers swept like a tide, and his emotions turned into color. He slapped out gray and dark red, and the brush danced wildly on the painting cloth. At first it was a chaotic swell, like a wave in the rain. In the wind, the lines condensed into abstract shapes, a twisted mountain with red inverted tops, like the test score lines, which crushed the mountain. Under the foot, the gray fog spread, revealing blue cracks, symbolizing the collapse of the heart. But in the fog, an orange-yellow flame bursts up, like hidden hope, trying to tear the darkness. After painting, Wang Lin's arms were slightly sore and he felt sweating in his head, but he felt his chest relax a lot. This painting is not only a pile of materials, but also his heart. The pressure is as strong as a mountain, and it can be lit by the flames. The surrounding members came up, and at first they were calm and shocked, and then they burst into rustic words. This is the test pressure, right? That red mat, like my math test last night, is so pierced. A girl wearing a glass murmured, her voice trembling like a leaf in the wind. Yutong was the first to come back to her senses and applauded loudly. Wang Lin, your painting is so cruel. Just hit the soul. Look, this mountain is not a prison, we can climb. Who can share it? Get up and liberate your heart. She grabbed the yellow material and added an arc line to the edge of the painting cloth. When I was under great pressure, I wanted to escape to the studio. This arc line is my escape door, swaying, like the way home. The members were infected, some were hesitant, and some were excited. A boy took the brush and covered the green spots. I always think the competition in the class is too fierce, and everyone is the first, like a pack of wolves. Green is my jealousy, but now I am going to wipe it off. His words are like a flood that opens. Caillou also approaches, adding blue wavy patterns. I set up a small group, with a shiny surface, and I am afraid of dragging my legs in my heart. This blue is my worry, but Wang Lin's fire the seedlings made me feel that we could burn the mountain together. The sweet and sour taste of the materials in the air spreads, and the sound of the brush rubbing the cloth is like a heartbeat. Everyone's conversations have changed from embarrassment to complaints. My father asks points every day, and the pressure is like a stone head pressing on his chest. The community is my breathing, otherwise it would have collapsed long ago. The competitive mentality dissipated like ash, replaced by a warm current of mutual assistance. Yutong shouted, "Now, the collective wall." A piece of cloth, everyone's handprints. The members' beehive, their fingers were covered with color, and they were swept in the center of the cloth. The gray-black peaks were surrounded by rainbow-like lines, and the flames expanded into a raging flame. Wang Lin watched this scene and turned from the audience to the center. He took the initiative to send a silent girl, "Come on, let's lose your story. This is not a competition, but our painting. The inner self is as white as the material. It turns out that I am not a lonely mountain. The color of my friends can make me stand higher." The anxious shackles loosened, and he felt like a flame, illuminating not only himself, but also igniting everyone. At the end of the event, the paintings had become a tangled abstract wall painting, hanging on the wall, like a social declaration. Caillou patted Wang Lin's shoulder and said, "Thank you, this painting has made my brain clear. Let's go and take a mock exam." Yutong snatched her hands and said, "Come on. Share the fruits of the war tonight." The three of them hurried to the exam. The sound of the campus beats at 3 p.m., and the air is filled with the tight smell of pens and the dryness of paper. In the simulation exam classroom, the lights were buzzing and everyone breathed heavily when the test paper was released. Wang Lin stared at the topic of the essay. The ancient prose was like a maze, and the author's image layer was mountains, rivers, flowing water, and lonely boats, which were a metaphor for the wandering life. His brain tightened and the formula was good, but the literature always made him unable to catch it. At the beginning of the exam, Jiqiu said in a low voice on the table, "Text to understand, don't panic." My memory remembers the key sentences, you can see them. Caillou was in the middle, her eyes fixed at the head. Although the three of them sat separately, they had a tacit understanding like the fusion of colors on the cloth. Wang Lin took a deep breath and took out a small notebook from his bookcase's hidden bag. He had painted a cursive picture last night, the image of ancient texts turned into a landscape painting. The mountains are roofs, the rivers are flowing, the lonely boat is moving in the blue waves, the shore marks the author's life, and the clouds hide metaphors and explanations. His golden fingers made the picture lively, and the boat used red lines to outline the emotional spines. When writing, his picture appeared in his brain and wrote in a naive way. The article uses mountains and rivers to describe life. A lonely boat is not a lonely person, but a freedom. After a long-term memory, he remembers that the ancient and modern times of the course are different, like iron smashing the foundation. Caillou's organizational ability is flashing. She plans to divide the structure on the draft, opening the topic, analyzing the meaning in the middle, and a promotion of the end, like pointing to the family and sticking, making the answers well. Time flies, and Wang Lin finishes writing the last sentence. His fingers still leave the touch of the material. He looked at the trial and thought to himself, art is not an escape, it is a bridge. Outside the exam, Ziyuan came out with sweat on his face. The article is difficult to write. But after I remember the image of your vision, I pushed it out. Caillou followed up and said relaxedly, when I organized my ideas, I remembered the mutual assistance of the society, and it was not a problem. The three of them were hanging in the corridor. Ziyuan suddenly stopped and rubbed his brain. Scoop, the sound is low and honest. Wang Lin, I said art wastes time in the library before. I'm sorry. At that time, I only had points in my brain, I ignored your feelings. Now, your paintings not only relieve the pressure, but also help us win. Thank you, brother. His eyes changed from light to soft, like the melting ice in autumn sun. Wang Lin was stunned for a moment and patted his shoulder. It's okay, I'm far-reaching. We're already relating to each other. You remember the arts, I'm helping with the paintings, and we'll fight together. Kuyu smiled and said, friendship is like this, from friction to tacit understanding. The simulation exam will come tomorrow, but today, we have a small victory. In the evening, the performance list was posted, and the 3-person group was divided into the top 5 in the average class. Wang Lin looked at the red numbers and felt a heat in his heart. Art and learning merged into power. The anxiety is no longer a mountain, but a ladder that can be climbed. Yutong's message jumped out, here you win? The community is blessed with blessings, come and paint the night lights. He smiled, carried his book bag, and the sunset shone, and the campus lights were bright, like countless small flames waiting for them to light up. The autumn wind was wrapped in the sweet fragrance of osmanthus, blowing through Lin Jidao in the campus. Wang Lin walked into the classroom with his book bag, and his brain was still circling with the warmth of the mock exam last night. The red result was like a calming pill, which made him realize for the first time that senior high school was not a definite way. But as soon as I entered the home, my father's eyes changed. On the table, my father put a piece of chicken in his bowl, and his voice was low. Wang Lin, do you hear your mother say that school mock exams are good? But monthly exams are the tough battle. Don't let us down in the first month of school transfer. The art club affairs are just fun, don't be indifferent to serious matters. Mom clicked her head and knocked her chopsticks on the edge of the bowl. Yes, son, we offer you not to read books for painting. Only when you get into a good university can you have a future. Wang Lin lowered her head and chewed rice grains in her mouth without taste, and her heart felt like she was blocked by a bunch of cotton. Art dreams, imaginary paintings are stalked behind the iron columns in the academic world. He wanted to say that painting helped him concentrate, but he finished speaking and swallowed it back. At night, he lay on the bed, staring at the ceiling, and his heart was as white as a tide. Why do you always think that 2 people are not human? Painting is my oxygen, but it is regarded as a luxury. At noon the next day, Yutong was waiting for him at the door of the art club, shaking a bag of apples in her hand, and she looked like her smile. Wang Lin. The community was surprised today, so I went out to write a student. The park outside the school is not far away. The 3rd year of high school is very stressful, and I changed to a slutty environment, which is full of spirituality. Wang Lin hesitated, looked at the watch, and started his class almost. Okay, but you have to come back tightly. The group can't fall. Yutong pulled his arm, and his steps were as fast as a wind. Don't worry, Kuyu, I said, she supports it. Let's take a painting board. 5 or 6 people in the community were scattered, riding a shared car out of school. The wind blew the hair, the apricot leaves on the road were golden, rustling under his feet, as if he was free in a low voice. In the park, the lake is green, the willow trees are hugging branches, and the air is filled with the fresh smell of soil and wild flowers. Yutong opened the picnic cloth and shouted, theme is free, but try campus friendship. Paint us these days. Everyone scattered, some squatting around the lake to sketch, some relying on trees to fuck the paint, and laughter and brush sounds formed together. Wang Lin found a piece of grass and sat down, leaning against an old locust tree. The rough skin made him calm. He pulled out green-blue materials and stared at the lake. The points after the school were floating in the sea. Kuyu's warm introduction, Ziyuan's straightforward friction, Yutong's passionate pull. The paintings and simulation of the group are as smooth as the lake. His golden fingers are radiant and his emotions are as beautiful as materials. He first drew the campus silhouette, and the teaching floor was hidden in the fog, like strangers at the beginning, then added a character. Kuyu's tail was like blue waves, forming everyone's hand. The long-lasting blood was like a red torch, illuminating the Formula Mountain, the short hair of Yutong flying, swaying rainbow materials. In the center of the picture, a large painting was spread out, and everyone's fingers were covered with color, smearing into a dark flower of friendship, and the petals were scattered from the gray edges to a golden center. The lake light reflected on the painting, the waves extend like friendship, and the willow trees far away leaned over their waists, as if they were guarding everything. When the painting was finished, Wang Lin's fingers were sticky and covered with the material, but he felt that the swelling in his heart was a little lighter. This picture is not only a scene, but also his transformation, the flames from a lonely boat to a team. Wow, this picture is so story. A strange voice came from the side. Wang Lin raised his head and saw a girl with long hair standing under the tree, holding the camera in her hand and her eyes flashing. She was wearing a school uniform, with the photography club badge on her chest, and her smile was as gentle as autumn sun. I am Hui Qian, of the same age. I just came to the park to take pictures of the lights on the lights. I couldn't help but come over when I saw your paintings. This friendly theme is simple and perfect. Our school will have thousands of pre-sanctuary lighting activities next week, and I'm planning. Can your paintings be integrated into it? Projecting it onto the lights, or making LED lights to light the campus, it will definitely be very eye-catching. Hui Qian was excited and squatted down and pointed to the painting. Look, this petal layer, it's like a light layer. The feeling of wiping together symbolizes mutual assistance in the senior year of high school. Yutong, are you from the community? How about cooperation? Yutong ran from the lake and applauded, Sister Hui Qian. That's great. Wang Lin, this is your opportunity. The light activity is the current enthusiasm of the school, and the paintings are bright, and everyone's pressure is instantly relaxed. Wang Lin was stunned for a moment, and a warm current surged in his heart. It turns out that art can connect more people like this. He pointed, okay, I'll try it. But I'll pass the monthly exam first. Hui Qian blinked, no problem, let's talk more about it after the event. I'll send you a photo first, so I can save my spirit. She sounded and painted the cloth into the mirror. Wang Lin felt that this unexpected encounter was like a painting with a new color. In the afternoon, I had a self-service worker and the learning group gathered in the old location of the library. Kuyu pushed the door in, holding a thick historical notes in her hand, and the tail was slightly irritated by the wind. Hello everyone. There are only 3 days left in the monthly exam, and the intensive revision mode is opened. Today I focus on history, I will share my memory, and I will help you. The air in the library was fluttering, and the ink fragrance of Chen's paper was rosy. The autumn leaves fell outside the window, and a gentle rustling was emitted. The long-term aspiration pointing, pushing the eyeglasses, and the sound is hot and bloody. My secret is the idea, stringing events into stories, like making movies. For example, a battle between ducks and movies is not a year of death, but a cannon of British ships and Chinese bloodshed soldiers. Imagine the picture, double the memory. He painted a simple timeline, and his eyes were sharp. Kuyu, you organize an order. Wang Lin, your visual paintings are here to help. Wang Lin took out the new painting from his bookcase, thinking, the pressure of the family is still there, but this is my battleground. He took a deep breath, touched his golden fingers, and the historical events in the brain came alive. He outlined a long scroll with brown-yellow materials. The left end is the smoke fire of the Duck War. The British ships came like black shadows. Lin Jieshu's image stood like a mountain, marking 1839, ban on smoke movement. The middle transition to the Taiping Heavenly Kingdom. Hong Xiuquan's flag was red like blood, rolled up the axle to open up the internal war, and the arrows connected to 1851 initiative. The right end is the transformation of the 1851 initiative. Liang Qichao's ink was like a blue light flash, and the new patriots surrounded the table to discuss, but were covered by the shadow 1898 failure. The picture is not rigid, and each event uses color levels. The orange-red of the fire represents conflict, the blue light symbolizes hope, and the timeline is like a river winding, connected into one. The sliding touch of fingers on the painting made Wang Lin forget his orders at home. Kuyu approached and her eyes lit up. Wang Lin, this painting is simply a historical map. The fire of the Duck Film War cannon, you can remember the year. Ziyuan, your ideas add to this vision, it is invincible. Ziyuan stared at the painting, his eyebrows stretched, yes. The flag of Taiping Heavenly Kingdom, I imagine it to be the climax of the movie. Now there is a picture, and the brain automatically play. Come, we practice, from the duck film. The three of them discussed around the table. Zhihao told the story, Kyu sorted out the key points, and Wang Lin pointed out and explained, "Look, this arrow is cause and effect, and the failure of the transformation method will be connected to the revolution of 1911, and the next chapter is pre-recorded." The penis rubbed the sound and low-language intercourse in the air, and history is no longer boring, like an adventure. The group was upgraded tacitly, and Kyu clapped her hands. "It's so smooth. Tomorrow's physics, I will organize the simulation. After tomorrow's English, Wang Lin's lyrics and trees." On the eve of the monthly exam, Wang Lin was lying at the desk at home. The tent lights were lit on the test paper, and the night wind blew outside the window, bringing the low barking of the family dogs. My father was still talking in his ears. He rubbed his eyes, and his inner inferiority was like a shadow. Am I worthy of this group? The school student, the painting guy, dragged his back legs all the time. The phone vibrated, and Ziyuan's message jumped out. "Wang Lin, have insomnia? Come and have a walk on the gym and talk." Wang Lin put on his coat and slipped out of the door. On the playground, the moonlight was like a silver shackle, the balls were gently swayed in the wind, and the air was as refreshing as if it had been washed. Xiao leaned against the column and passed a bottle of water. "Brother, I think you were worried recently. Family pressure?" "Dad is staring tightly, I understand. When I was in my first year of high school, my dad said that I would not go home if I did not take the top 10 exams, and I would die once." His voice was low, and his usual hot and bloody atmosphere softened, as if I took off my armor. Wang Lin took the water, and the bottle was covered with ice. He hesitated and finally opened his mouth. "Jifu, you are always a genius, where's me? I painted it when I turned around, for fear of being said to be unemployed." The family had high expectations, and the art dreams were burdened. Shifu turned around, and the moonlight shone on his face, with a sincere look. "Silly, do you think I am not inferior? I have been practicing me for 3 years, and I stayed up late countless times behind me. Your painting is not a burden, but our weapon. I was wrong when I tested the test that time, and now I admit, no, with you, our group has half of its firepower. You become a partner from a stranger, this is growth. Don't be inferior, art and academic, work together." He patted Wang Lin's shoulder, his strength was warm. "Remember, friendship is not a competition, but a shoulder. After winning the monthly exam, we will invite guests." The end of Wang Lin's heart was like the moonlight melting, and the shadow of inferiority retreated. He smiled and said, "Thank you, brother. Tomorrow, all your strength." His heart passed by. It turns out that it must be not a loneliness, but a courage to have a companion. He felt like a flame on a cloth, burning even more vigorously. On the day of the monthly exam, lights were buzzing in the exam. When the test paper was released, everyone breathed heavily. The history paper was opened, and the long scroll appeared in Wang Lin's brain, and the fire of the duck was in sight, and the pen was as dirty as paintings. Physics, English, the help of the group is like dyeing the material layer. He visualizes the formula tree, the thoughts of the long-term ideas are detailed, and Kuyu's structure makes the answers well. The sound of the bell rose, and he walked out of the exam. The sun was dazzling, and the autumn leaves turned under the feet, like a colorful belt of joy. Kuyu and Jifu were waiting at the door. Kuyu hugged him the first time. "Wang Lin, what do you think? The big question of history, I used your painting to push it, it was stable." Shifu grinned. "English lyrics are all right. Your tree pattern, help." The next day, the 3 of them in the group were upgraded, and Wang Lin's history was promoted from the middle and lower reaches of the class to the top 10. At the class meeting, Kuyu stood up and her voice was crisp. "Teacher, classmates, our group has made great progress in the monthly exams. Thank you especially for Wang Lin. His paintings help me remember, everyone borrowed them. The students who transfer students are not simple, he is a reliable partner." There was a thunderous sound in the class, and someone shouted, "Wang Lin, awesome." His face was red, and his heart was confident. From the edge to the center, this is the change. The 3 of them went to the sales department to celebrate, bought soda and potato chips, and sat at the playground. Kuyu held a cup, little victory. But the final exam is even bigger, and the lighting activities are approaching. Wang Lin, your painting is about to be on the stage. Shihao pointed, yes, let's light the campus together. Wang Lin looked at Xiang and thought to himself, the pressure is still there, but now, there is light in front of him. The cold wind of winter comes from the school park, rustling with the rustling sound of the withered leaves, like an invisible whip whipping everyone's nerves. The joy of the monthly exam has not completely subsided, and the shadow of the midterm exam has already covered the whole class. Wang Lin sat in the back of the classroom, staring at the physical formula written by the teacher on the blackboard. His penis turned and his brain was blank. Outside the window, the sky was gray, and the rain fell down, and the sound of hitting the glass was like a heartbeat. My father said for a long time last night, the monthly exam is a little test, and I only see the true chapter of the midterm exam. The art club rarely goes to the art club and study hard. He answered the question, and his heart felt like he was blocked with dust. He held his painting in his hand, but he couldn't even fall down. At noon, the group of 3 people were slapped in the corner of the library, with the air filled with the moisture of book fragrance and the bitterness of coffee. Caillou opened a physics training book, and the tail swayed lightly, and the sound was filled with fatigue. Everyone, the scope of the midterm exam has expanded, and the heat learning of physics is super difficult. Shihao, tell me first, how should you tell me about your memory? Shihao rubbed the son's acupoint, and the hot blood wool in his daily life became weaker. I tried the idea of a joint, imagine the heat transmission as a torch, and the entropy increases like a chaotic party. But recently my brain is stuck and I forget the formula. He pushed Wang Lin to a question, what about you? Draw a visual image, and the part of the heat cycle. Wang Lin took on the question and stared at the paper. The color and line in the brain were already there, but now there was only a chaos. He pulled out a few pens, and there were a mess of lines on the painting, like smoke blown away by the wind, without a single splash. His fingers were stiff, and the material was drying on the tip of the pen. He was angry. No. I can't paint it out. The pressure in my brain was too irritating, and the painting cloth couldn't be grasped. Caillou browed, Wang Lin, what's wrong with you? Your painting magic was so good during the simulation exam. Ziyuan patted the table, bottle? It's common in senior year, but the group can't stop. Without your visualization, we're stuck. The air suddenly became quiet, and the 3 of them lowered their heads to write questions, but who did not make progress. The military atmosphere is like the rain outside the window, gurgling, wailing the heat of the monthly exam. In the afternoon, Caillou sent a message to convene a crisis meeting in the art club activity room. Yutong arrived early, with raindrops on her short hair. She gave everyone a warm cocoa. The cup was warm, and the steam rose. Caillou said, is the group low? Come, sit. Wang Lin, your friendship painting is still hanging on the wall. Where's the spirit coming from? Hui Qian also appeared unexpectedly, holding her in her hand. A piece of lights designed a grass picture, with long hair loose and a gentle smile. I heard Yutong say that. I came to talk about light activities. Wang Lin, your painting is the key, please relieve the crisis first. In the activity room, the smell of the material mixed with the fragrance of soil after the rain, and semi-finished products scattered on the painting stand, making people breathless. Caillou sat down, and her voice was definitely worried. Tell me, the group of people is low-tempered. Wang Lin created a bottleneck, and we were stuck in the physics question for 2 days. After 2 weeks of the midterm exam, everyone has to revive. Thoughts? Xiao leaned on the back of the chair, holding his arms with both hands. I can't remember the arts anymore. Wang Lin's painting is a bridge. Without it, the formula is like dispersed sand. Wang Lin lowered his head, and his heart was as white as rain. Why can't he draw it now? Is it too much pressure, or is it not possible for me? Self-doubt is like a shackle, which makes him breathless. Yutong jumped out the first time, her eyes lit up. Bottle? Then play the game to break the ice. There is a colored dragon activity in the community, and everyone is scattered, and the theme is light in a turmoil. If you don't seek perfection, when you interact, the spirit will come naturally. Wang Lin, try. When I got stuck that year, the game saved me. She pulled Wang Lin's hand and pulled it to the big cloth. Come on, start with a simple start. Is your confusion gray or blue? Hui Qian clicked and opened the sketch. Yes, the game can stimulate. The lighting activity structure is this style. Before the Christmas day, the main campus of the campus was equipped with a lamp to project your painting. The theme is the light of youth. Each chicken light represents a story, pressure, friendship, and persistence. Wang Lin, your bottleneck painting can become a core light. The chaotic line turns into a galaxy, point bright in the night sky. Preliminary plan, the community provides paintings, the photography club is responsible for lighting effects, and the budget is approved from the school. Imagine, on the eve of the exam, everyone relaxed under the lights, and the scholars were full of energy. Her words fell like lights, and the silhouettes outlined on the grass made the interior brighter. Kuyu's eyes lit up. Hui Qian, I want to like this. The game is lighted up. Wang Lin, we will regain the painting, we support it. Although Ziyuan didn't say anything, his eyes turned from darkness to expectation. He suddenly opened his mouth. Wait, I'll help. Looking back on the past and using my memory. Wang Lin, close his eyes and hear. Before the monthly exam, you painted the long historical paper. The three of us surrounded the table. The year hidden in the fire and smoke simulated the examination language. Your landscape image. Let the lonely boat become free. From friction to tacit understanding, it is not aura, it is a perseverance. Your painting is not a Jenny. At the beginning of the game, Yutong tapped out gray materials and slapped in the middle of the painting. My misfortune is the sleepless night of the senior year of high school. Connect the dragon. Wang Lin hesitated, took the brush, and touched the moisture materials with his fingers, and his familiar touch was like an old friend. He closed his eyes and recalled his long-lasting thoughts. The success of the monthly exam in his brain is like a flash of pictures, red color, playing soda, and brothers patted their shoulders. The golden fingers are awakened with ease, and emotions are no longer confused, but condensed. He added a blue line and pulled out an arc from the gray fog, like a river passing through the darkness. He was relaying and painted the flame with a red pendant. This is our hot blood, burning the bottle head. Kuyu added green leaves. The branches of the timber are stolen to support everyone. Hui Qian projected the light effect, the blue-red collar, and the painting came alive. Yutong laughed. Look, the chaos is changing the galaxy. Wang Lin, what do you think? He pointed his head and his heart beat faster. Here, a spirit. He took the painting on his own, took a deep breath, and turned the crisis into creation. The picture turns into, the center is a twisted gray-blue whirlpool, symbolizing the chaos in the heart, and the golden cracks are cracked on the edge. The vines that hold onto the cracks are rolled into bridges, connecting the three people, the torch of the far-reaching, the blue wave of Kuyu, and the rainbow of the rain. Far away, the lights are hidden, and the vines extend into a galaxy, symbolizing the power of the team. The material layer is added, and the touch is sticky and the heat of creation is spread in the air. This painting is not only a breakthrough, but also is self-reflection. From doubt to dependence, friendship is the root of persistence. As night falls, the community night activities are bright. Hui Qian's temporary lighting equipment buzzed and projected the painting onto the wall of the room. The golden cracks flashed like stars, illuminating everyone's face. Yutong shouted, "Share time." This painting is Wang Lin's insistence. Everyone will talk about their bottleneck. A girl from a social group spoke first. I have always had a bad math, and the pressure is like a whirlpool. But looking at this vine, I feel like I can climb out. Xihao patted Wang Lin's shoulder. Brother, your painting reminds me of the collapse of my first year of high school. At that time, I stayed up late, and then I met Kuyu's organization and stood firm. Now, the three of us are invincible. Kuyu smiled and held Keep Ziyuan's hand. Ziyuan's passionate blood brings direction, my organization brings structure, and Wang Lin's painting brings soul. This is how friendship is. Crisis changes power. Wang Lin heard it, and his heart was warm. Thank you everyone. I thought the battle was over, but now I know it is a turn. With you, I can draw light. Sharing spreads like a light. Some talk about family pressure, some say competition and jealousy. Stories are intertwined, and friendship is deepened. The refreshing moment came. Hui Qian brightened the projection, and the painting's galaxy shone brightly throughout the room. Everyone applauded, and Yutong hugged Wang Lin. Breakthrough. This painting goes straight to the lightning event. The military's spirit was like sparks, and the group revived its momentum, and Wang Lin's art became the spiritual pillar. After the meeting ended, the three of them walked on the Linqi road back to the dormitory. The night was swaying and the road lights shone. Kuyu stopped. Wang Lin, physics will continue tomorrow, your painting is our weapon. Ziyuan pointed, yes, regain the painting, we are in the middle of the day. Wang Lin smiled, and the painting cloth in his hand rolled up, carrying the future like a roll, well, together. The campus clock knocked, and the light was in front of him. The pressure was no longer an enemy, but a painting cloth that could light up. In winter, the campus was covered with a thin fog. When the bell was knocking, Wang Lin opened the classroom door, and his bookcase was filled with physical notes and a colored pen. Outside the window, crystal frost flowers were hanging on the branches, and the sun was barely coming in, illuminating the pink characters on the blackboard with a cold light. The pressure of the midterm exam is like an invisible network, becoming more and more tighter, but the group's taxi shines like a galaxy on the painting after the breakthrough of the art society that night. Kuyu turned around in the front row, and the tail swung lightly, passing a poster. Wang Lin, Jiao, look. The school-level knowledge competition will be held next week. The year-level selection competition will be held, and the topics are interdisciplinary, history, physics, and language. Our class registered a 3-person group, just us. The teacher said that this is a hot topic before the midterm exam, and there will be extra points if you win. Her voice was filled with the organization's training, and her eyes were reflected in the prize cup pattern on the poster. Ziyuan explored the head from the back row, pushed the lens, and the hot blood robber came up again. Come on. This competition is a tough battle. The top team in the next class is very strong and they are the champion. In the physics section, they have a special model demonstration. We have to practice and want to add visuals. Wang Lin, your painting is the trump card. Wang Lin received the poster and his heart was tight and relaxed. The bottle head was broken, and there was a new challenge now, but he felt that the team's tacit understanding was glued like a material, and the painting was no longer blank. He pointed out, okay, practice. In the afternoon, the library gathered, start with the intersection of historical physics. In the classroom, the classmates talked about private words, some admired them, and some wanted to try, and the air of competition became full of energy, but Kuyu's words were like a slipper, everyone supports our group, and won the whole class to benefit. Several girls applauded, and Wang Lin thought to himself, it feels really good to go from the side to the center. At noon, the art club activity room was as hot as a festival. When Yutong pushed the door, she was holding a printed copy of the painting in her hand. Her short hair was blown up by the wind and a little blue color was stained on her face. Wang Lin. I've promoted your light and mistakes painting in the community. Last night's sharing session, everyone slammed the copy and said that this is a magic weapon for the senior year of high school. Look, the wall is wide. She pointed to the wall, and the galaxy painting was enlarged, and the gray-blue whirlpool turned the line of golden vines, flashing like a living thing under the light. When the group members came up, a boy patted Wang Lin's shoulder. Brother, this picture solved my physics topic last night. The vines are like a hot guide, remembering that the formula is super easy. Yutong blinked. It's not just the group, but I also posted it to the campus forum, with the title Art Magic of School Students. Hui Qian is here, she has a big plan. Hui Qian walked in from the door, her long hair was loose, and she was holding a piece of light grass in her hand. Her smile was gentle and determined. Wang Lin, congratulations on your paintings being popular. The forum clicks exceeded 100, and everyone said that this is the light of youth. You are officially invited to participate in the light design, pre-saltitude pre-sanctuary event, next Friday campus. Your galaxy painting is a core projection, combined with LED lights, and the theme is Team Light. The community provides materials, I am responsible for the lighting effects, and the Yutong promotion. Imagine, on the eve of the exam, the light will light up the pressure, everyone relaxes below, and the spirits will be up upward. She unfolded the painting, and the lights were arranged in the center. The silhouette of Wang Lin's painting was added, with color layers added, like a fire in the night sky. Wang Lin's eyes lit up, and his heart was filled with creative enthusiasm. Hui Qian, this is so cool. But after the competition, will I draw a new picture to integrate it? Hui Qian pointed, perfect. After the competition was won, we will upgrade the lights with the winning theme. Happy cooperation. Yutong shouted, cheer. Use Kale instead. Everyone laughed and clinked glasses, the smell of the ingredients and the sweet fragrance of soda. Wang Lin felt that art was no longer a person, but a connected bridge. The inner heart is alone, open up and share strength, this is growth. In the afternoon, the sound of rain hits the window glass, like a drum beat, and the three-person group buried their heads and practiced hard. Kuyueching's question library, the competition rules, each group has 3 wheels, historical descriptions, physics demonstrations, and essays are all about happiness. The first will history, we use Wang Lin's long scrolls, the second will physics, the Iyuan joint and vision model. The Iyuan was pointed and the voice was low, physics is difficult, and hot machine cycles are often produced. Imagine a steam engine running like a train, and energy is transformed like a passenger-changing car. But the demonstration requires pictures, and the thought in my brain is stuck in the details. Wang Lin took out the blank painting cloth from his bookcase, and his fingers turned indelibly. I'll try the model. Close your eyes and listen to your description. Xiao took a deep breath. Okay, the heat cycle, the Cannon cycle, for steps: isothermal expansion, absolute heat expansion, equal thermal compression, absolute thermal compression. Energy is like a river, from a hot source to a cold source, efficiency formula eta equals 1 Tc/Th. Wang Lin's golden fingers are swirling in nature, and emotions are transformed into lines. He took out the red-orange material, and a 3-piece steam machine appeared on the painting. The circular cylindrical engine radiated red light, and the temperature process was like a river winding, a blue cold source at the bottom, and a heat source flame was shattered. The arrow marking step, the layer curved line symbolized energy loss, and the efficiency formula was like a metal plaque embedded in the engine body. The touch feels sticky, and the air is filled with sour taste. He recommended it to Ziyuan. Look, this model is moving. If you think of your train, it comes from the hot source, and the blue cold source is a car. Ziyuan stared at the painting, his eyes widened. Awesome. This vision is blind, NM. On the day of the competition, the lights in the ceremony were dazzling, the sounds were buzzing, and the air was filled with the smell of sweat and the dryness of the paper. The young collection of the teams of each class in the next class, Li Kai, the leader, is tall and slim, with a sharp look like a knife. He looked at Wang Lin's team and curled his lips. New school student? I heard that you rely on painting and painting to help, and the competition is not an art exhibition. Physics demonstration. We have a solid understanding of our physics demonstration. The object model is crushed and crushed you. Kyu greeted him with a steady voice. Li Kai, speak effectively. The competition is fair. Ziyuan said to Wang Lin in a low voice. Don't be angry, let him see. Wang Lin's heart beat faster, but the warm current of the team made him calm. We are not lonely wolves, but wolves. The first will history tells the smooth story. Wang Lin's long roll projection large screen, the fire of the duck blade to the blue light, the story of Ziyuan's long-term imagination. Kyu controls the rhythm, and the group wins high scores. The second will physics demonstration, will to heat cycle. Li Kai team went first, their physical model buzzed and turned, the steam model was realistic, the explanation was smooth, the evaluation was the head, and the first was the first. When he arrived at Wang Lin's group, Ziyuan started to speak. Everyone, the hot energy is like a life marathon, and energy conversion requires efficiency. Kyu passed the props, Wang Lin opened the painting cloth, and the large screen projection model came alive. The red light is moving, the river meanders, and the review committee seats said in a low voice, this visualization, innovation. But the shell was stuck in the middle, and Li Kai suddenly interrupted. The painting looks good, What about the formula? You can't predict the efficiency. The whole scene was silent, and the scores of the group were in danger. Wang Lin's brain buzzed, and the pressure was like a tide, but when he saw Kuyu's calm eyes and the long-awaited blood clenched his fist, his inner heart changed. I can't retreat, the team is behind. He immediately grabbed the colored pen and slammed on the small whiteboard. Look, reverse. The formula eta equals 1 Tc/Th, here Tc is the absolute temperature, painted into a cold and hot gradient. The pendant dances with blue and red intertwined. New picture shows. The energy river flows upstream, the vines break through from the bottle, the mark value changes, and the visual impact is like a fire. Ziyuan continued, I want to retrain the train, Wang Lin's picture replenishment. Kuyu concluded, maximize efficiency, like teams complement each other. The audience burst into laughter, and the reviewers praised, creative bonus points. This visual helps, perfect in Reason app. The third verse is about thrilling. Based on historical physics, Kuyu organized discussions, and the group tacitly developed, and the crown was in sight. In the final score, Wang Lin teamed the champion. In the ceremony, Kuyu hugged Wang Lin and said, we won. Ziyuan shouted, brother, the master of painting. Classmates came to the stage. The Heir to Evil team that was originally competitive changed the group, and someone shouted, Wang Lin's group is awesome. Classmates are invincible, we will be in the middle of the period. Li Kai walked over and stretched out his hand. I'm convinced, your combined arts are harmful. Fight next time. Wang Lin shook hands, feeling as refreshed as the material. From challenge to victory, this is the magic of the team. In the audience, Yutong and Hui Qian were waiting. Yutong's paintings, Wang Lin, your imminent picture is popular. The light design adds this element, the galaxy and the reverse vines are perfect. Hui Qian pointed out, formal cooperation, the preheated event is very pleasing. I wish you good luck. Wang Lin smiled, and his heart was filled with vain, only when a person could not paint the galaxy, the team shone everything. I went from closed to open, it was so good. Ziyuan patted him and said, brother, thank you for your paintings since the friction. Without you, I am still the robot who is deadly and hard. Wang Lin patted back, Ziyuan, you give me blood. We are brothers, let's burn together. Friendship is like a torch, and it has become a brotherly relationship, warming it into the heart. The party was held at the art club, with night lights on, music was light and soda and potato chips scattered on the desktop. Classmates gathered together, and Kuyu held a cup, the champions belonged to the team. The midterm exam is reversed, we will complement each other from the competition, and we will rush. Everyone shouted, the team is successful. Youth is invincible. Wang Lin looked at the smiling crowd, and the newly added sharp map on the painting. The pressure is no longer a mountain, but a ladder that can be climbed. Outside the window, the fog was scattered and the stars were hidden, as if telling a larger light feast. When the party was over, the long-awaited voice said, Wang Lin, we will practice the midterm issue tomorrow. Brothers, let's go together. Wang Lin pointed his head and felt determined, we have changed in the midterm exam. The sunlight in winter is slanted from the floor-to-ceiling windows of the library, illuminating the gray particles on the bookshelf floating like a little spirit, and the air is filled with the ink fragrance of old paper and the bitter smell of coffee. Wang Lin opened the glass door, holding a thick physics practice book in his hand. The party last night was still rumbling in the brain, but the midterm exam was like an invisible bell, which made people's hearts confused. Kuyu and Jifu were already sitting in their old position. Kuyu's tail flashed under the light. She pushed the lens and her voice was as organized as ever, come on. Today we focus on physical and electromagnetic science, and won the competition, but the midterm exam scope is even wider. Shifu, you should share the field ideas of memory first. Wang Lin, your visualization diagram was rescued last time, this time we draw a circuit model. We three of us will flow, don't fall behind. Ziyuan was at the corner and grabbed the pen and flew the fastest dunk on the paper. The electric field is like an invisible battlefield, and the charges are pulling each other. I wanted to be a confrontation between two troops. The law of the warehouse is the offensive and defensive formula F equals KQ1Q2 over R squared. Remember, K is the constant, and R is the distance, which is simple. He pushed Wang Lin a picture of a sketch with his eyes hot and bloody eyes, but during the demonstration, my brain was always stuck in the vector direction. Wang Lin, draw a picture of the field to help me visualize it. Wang Lin sat down, took a deep breath, and the familiar touch of the painting made him calmer. He sucked out blue-red materials, and the charges floated in the sea of the brain, attracted like magnets, dancing with their tips, drawing a twisted field line. The red lines around the positive charges radiate outward, like fire spray. The blue lines of the negative charge gathered, swaying like whirlpools. The power line density is marked on the picture, and the abstract concept becomes three-dimensional. Look, the power lines here are dense, the scene is strong, sparse, weak. He explained, with confidence in his voice. Kuyu was approaching and her eyebrows were slightly raised. Wang Lin, it's good to look straight in this picture, but the competition is tight, and the paintings are too slow to spread. The midterm exam is closed, and we have to practice the formula quickly, not relying on images. A long ambition, your thoughts are okay, but you will add stories and waste your talk. Or the standard step, first push the formula, then verify the data. This is how stable. Her temperament was firm, like the command of the class leader. Wang Lin was stunned and his heart sank. She was on the party last night to celebrate the cup. Congratulations, team. How has it changed now? Kuyu, my picture is not a waste of money, but a help. I was excited about the competition and reversed the Li Kai group. You organized well, but ignored your vision, and many people got stuck. He responded, his voice rising, and the tranquility of the library was broken, and several students around him raised their heads and aimed. Ziyuan tied in the middle and rubbed the sun acupoint. Hey, too, cold and quiet. Kuyu said it right, the test should be more effective. Wang Lin, your painting is a magical tool, but it needs to be integrated. Don't be quarrel, practice the topic first. But the differences were pulled like an electric field. In the afternoon, Kuyu insisted on using the table to solve the electromagnetic induction problem. Wang Lin tried to draw a picture of the flux change of Faraday's law, and the two started to fight. For your picture time, the formula directly calculates epsilon equals d phi slash dt, and the speed is determined. Kuyu knocked on the table, her eyes were too impatient. Speed fight? There is no picture in my brain, I'm wrong with it. Wang Lin went back, and the pen in his hand turned white. Ziyuan tried the picture and interjected, Kuyu, listen to Wang Lin. Wang Lin, Kuyu's form has logic. But it was as embarrassing as the field line was twisted, and the progress of the group was stuck. Wang Lin felt alone in his heart. Why doesn't she understand? When I switched to school, I was out of place, and now the teams are broken. The feeling of loneliness and independence gathered like a blue line, which made him breathless. He packed his bags and left the library early, and the rain slammed the windows, as if mocking this misunderstanding. In the evening, Wang Lin walked alone on the campus forest road, with the road lights pulling shadows. The cold wind blew the fragrance of osmanthus flowers, which made him feel worried. The phone vibrated, and Yutong's message jumped out, the art club is urgent. The light event is hot, 7 o'clock tonight. Hui Qian was surprised, Kuyu and Ziyuan came too. Don't be absent, new friend. He hesitated and turned to the activity room. When I pushed the door in, the indoor warm yellow light was filled with light, the material smelled as if it was embracing, and the semi-finished products were scattered on the rack, and the speakers were playing lightly and quickly. Yutong first met, her short hair was mixed, and she passed the hot chocolate. Wang Lin. Your face is different, what happened to the learning group? Kuyu just arrived, the atmosphere was weird. Come on, sit. The event theme is the light of resolving, and it is a special place to break the embarrassment. Everyone is painting cloth and sharing their thoughts. Hui Qian adjusts in the corner projector, with long hair loose, turned around and smiled. Yes, Wang Lin, your galaxy painting is the source of spirituality. Tonight's detailed planning, relax your mood first. Kuyu and Ziyuan had already sat down. Kuyu lowered her head and turned her pen. With her eyes hiding, Ziyuan shook her hand awkwardly. Brother, here. What's going on in the afternoon? Yutong did not ferment the embarrassingly, and pulled everyone around the large painting. The rules are simple: start with gray, wipe your mistakes, and then turn color to resolve them. Kyu, you first? Kyu looked hesitant and pulled out gray and black materials. The brush touched the painting. I was too anxious in the afternoon. The group was habitual and wanted to control the overall situation, but ignoring Wang Lin's painting was the voice of the team. Gray was my restraint, like a field pulling everyone. Her voice was low, her tail was hanging down, and the sticky texture made her fingers tremble. Ziyuan connected and added a red line. I can't adjust it. Red is hot and blood, but the middle of the clamp is like a short circuit. Wang Lin, your vision saves me, don't be angry. When he reached Wang Lin, he stared at the gray and black, and the loneliness in his heart was like a whirlpool, but he took a deep breath and learned to communicate. Kyue, I understand that you want to be stable, but the picture is not a burden, it is a bridge. When I move to school, I am afraid of being transformed. I bumped into the top in the afternoon because I am afraid of losing my nipples. He added blue arcs, pulled out the light from the ash, touched the golden fingers, an emotional transformation. The arcs gathered into the team's profile, the three people held hands, and the electromagnetic field lines turned into a connected vine. Yutong laughed. Look. The embarrassment has been resolved. Hui Qian, your pressure story motivates us to plan the lights. Hui Qian clicked the head and the projector lit up. She shared, in the second year of high school, my father and mother left, and the pressure was so strong that it collapsed. Photography is to save the lottery. When shooting lights, I felt that there was still light in the world. But in the third year of high school, I went to the school to take a black hole, swallowing everything. Joining the light activity is to help everyone, including myself. Wang Lin, your paintings allow me to see the various teams, art, memory, organization, and with my light effects, we are invincible. Her voice was gentle and illuminated, and the light was flashing in her eyes, which was as exciting as a light falling. Everyone clicked. Kyu spoke first. Hui Qian, thank you. Your story reminds me that pressure is not to be carried alone. Lighting activity details. 50 champion LED lights are built on the square, projecting Wang Lin's Galaxy Plus reverse map. Yutong promotes the broad range of news. I organize the process, and I remember and safe at all points. Hui Qian controls the light effect. The theme is Youth Light, lights on the eve of the exam, and releases pressure. Yutong is excited. Add to interact. The audience is covered with small lights and share their thoughts. Wang Lin heard it, and felt a sense in his heart. Hui Qian's addition is like new materials, enriching the team. He actively proposed. I transform the painting as a projection, the galaxy gray-blue vortex, from the edge to the center bright, symbolizing from misunderstanding to tacit understanding. The electromagnetic field line does a dynamic effect. The field line moves like a heartbeat, blending into the sharp vines. He grabbed the paper and the grass quickly formed. The light's line is arranged in the center large screen. The blue line flows. The layered layer adds the galaxy river. The gray fog on the edge scatters, and the golden light lights up the campus wheel. Hui Qian was close to it. Perfect. At the end of the event, the group of three walked on the way back to the classroom. The night was breeze and the road lights reflected the shadow of the grass. Ziyuan broke the silence first. I didn't adjust it in the afternoon. Now it has been resolved, and continue to practice physics. Kyu stopped and turned to Wang Lin, and her voice was really honest. Wang Lin, I'm sorry. I admit that your visualization is the most rewarding. Without painting, our group is still loose sand. Thank you for your communication and letting me hear it. Her eyes were warm, and her tail was shaking lightly, as if she had taken off a burden. Wang Lin smiled, and the loneliness in his heart dissipated like a fog. Kyu, it's okay. We complement each other, so we are the team. Back to the library, the military rekindled, and they conquered the electromagnetic problems. Kyu's table structure steps, aspirations, and thinking vectors. Wang Lin's painting induction circle model. The magnetic field changes like waves rolling. The electric arrow marks the direction. Abstract changes straightforward. The three of them worked together to solve a comprehensive question, and the answer was suddenly on the paper, like a small climax. Kyu clapped her hands, tactily understanding his back. Wang Lin, your painting brings the formula to life. At noon the next day, at the art club, Wang Lin perfected the light grass picture. The vines extend into light chains, and the galaxy movement indicates orgasm. Hui Qian tried to project, the blue light flashed, everyone was watching, and excitedly said, "This will light up the campus." Yutong blinked, "Wang Lin, you have gone from being alone in school to the core of the team now, awesome." He pointed and thought to himself, the pressure is still there, but the light is ahead, waiting for us to wipe it. The campus in winter looks particularly calm under the sunshine in the afternoon. The frost flowers on the branches melt into water droplets, sliding down drop by drop, making a slight ticking sound, as if reminding the merciless passage of time. Wang Lin walked out of the art club activity room, holding the straw picture in his hand, and the blue line winding on the paper, as if it was alive. His brain was buzzing. He hadn't finished the physics training topic last night. His phone called me, and his language was filled with the urging of the midterm exam. "Son, light activities are fun, and learning is the capital. Don't worry." He rubbed his son acupoint and thought to himself, art is my oxygen, but now it's like a two-headed snail, which makes me breathless. In the afternoon, I had a self-service worker and the learning group gathered in the old location of the library. Kyu has already opened the question database of electromagnetism, and her tail sways lightly, with a little more conviction in her eyes. "Wang Lin, I am far away, there is only 1 week left in the midterm exam, so we should attack quickly. I resolved the error yesterday, and today I start with the quick solution formula. I have sorted out the table method, first list the flux changes, and then calculate the electric movement. Wang Lin, your visual diagram helps, but don't waste time." Her voice is unquestionable, like the squad leader is directing a battle. Ziyuan pointed his head, pushed the lens, and came up with a hot blood. Kyu said, "I used the idea to replenish the position. The sensor current is like the body's instinct, and the magnetic field changes. Wang Lin, you can write the version quickly, and it will be done in 2 minutes." Wang Lin sat down, stared at the topic, and the color pen in his hand changed. Grass pictures of light activities appearing in the brain, the galaxy vines need to be perfected, and physical formulas can be like mountain pressure. He tried to draw a picture, the lines were malfunctioning, and the blues intertwined into a group of wool balls. "No, my brain is stuck. The light design has not been finalized yet, the creation is very stressful and I can't draw clear pictures." He was angry and there was a sway in his voice. Kyu stopped her pen, approached him, and slapped the table with warm hands. "Wang Lin, I understand. Double pressure is like a tug on the field, but we are a team. Last night I reflected that leadership is not just a break, but a balance. I will help you to share. I will organize a class-level revision tonight. You will be dedicated to creating for 2 hours, and then come back to practice the topic. Ambition, you will borrow your memory to him, and think of lights and formulas. Galaxy electromagnetic waves actively convey energy." Ziyuan grinned and passed a note. "Yes. Imagine your painting cloth as a circuit board, the material is current, from dark to bright, and the efficiency is full. Brother, hold on, we will hold on to you." Their words were like a warm current injected. Wang Lin's heart was a little relieved, and his heart was silent. It turns out that friendship is not empty talk, but a practical support. He pointed, "Thank you, I'm so stable. Practice this question first." In the evening, Yutong's message jumped out like a rescuer, Art Society Brain Raid. At 7 o'clock, the lighting preparations are accelerated. The whole society plus group plus Hui Qian, new paintings of brain violence. Don't miss it, a new core. When Wang Lin arrived, the interior was already hot, the smell of the ingredients mixed with the sweet fragrance of hot chocolate. Grass pictures were scattered on the shelf, and the projectors in the corners of the wall were buzzing and standing on standby. Yutong had short hair flying and pulled him into the door. "Wang Lin, you are here." Kyu and Ziyuan arrived. Hui Qian was adjusting the equipment. The brain-tormenting theme of emotional lighting is a stimulus for pre-sanctuary activities. It is a big pressure. The duck is slinging. She passed a small painting, and there were more than 10 members of the community. Kuyu organized the seats, Ziyuan distributed snacks, and Hui Qian wrote the process on the blackboard. Step 1. Sharing pressure. 2. Wang Lin leads the creation of paintings. 3. I integrate the lighting effects. 4. The whole class participates in the planning. Her long hair is soft under the light, and her voice professionally is like a director. In terms of technology, LED lights have arrived, projection software has been upgraded, and can make dynamic fade. Wang Lin, your galaxy picture is a skeleton, new series are added, and the emotional level is richer. When the brainstorm began, Yutong opened the stage first. The days of senior high school are like dark night, and the lights are our stars. Everyone says that it is stressful. Go up. A boy from a social group put on gray materials and touched them heavily. The family has high expectations, and my mother is watching the score every day, like a shadow covering the head. The girl connected and added blue waves. Competition and jealousy. There are too many students in the class. I always think Kuyu listened and added green leaves lightly. When I organized a small group, I was afraid of losing control, but now I understand that the leader is listening to everyone's voice. Ziyuan hung torch. Heat and blood are sometimes blind, but fortunately there are brothers. When he arrived at Wang Lin, he stared at the painting cloth, and the double pressure in his heart was like a gray-blue whirlpool. Test the stacking of formulas. The creative spirit was crushed. He took a deep breath, his golden fingers awakened, and his emotions burst out. The first picture is, the school is lonely, the gray campus is isolated, the edge cracks open with blue light cracks, symbolizing the warmth of the first encounter with Kuyu. The second picture, the friction of the small group, the red and black electric field pulling, the vines break through, marking tacit understanding. The third picture, the bottle head is moving, the galaxy gray fog is spreading, the central golden light is moving, and the test formula tree is integrated into the physical field line, and the layered patches are added to the emotional ladder. The sticky touch of his fingers and his fingers made him forget to be tired. This series of paintings is not just an image, but also his inner thoughts. From movement to balance, art and learning are like double wings and flying. Everyone came up, and Yutong's eyes glared. Wow, Wang Lin, these 3 works are too ignited. The lights are alone, perfectly connecting the senior high school story. The society uses this series as templates to stimulate the creation. Hui Qian approached and the projector lit up. She scanned the painting into the software. Technical integration. The first one faded into the blue light, symbolizing integration. The second one is red vine spiral, like a heartbeat. The third one is spiraling, and the formula tree is flashing gold edge. The lights are lined up with 50 chickens, the central large screen projection, and the edges are interacting with small lights. In the budget, add inspiration when the audience touches the lamp. They can light up the personal story. Kuyu clicks the head and leads the charm. Good plan. Yutong, you promote the whole class. I will organize and participate, and send posts to the class to let classmates learn small lamps and share the pressure. Ambition, remember the safety process and prevent accidents. Ziyuan's fist slammed his palm. No problem. This activity not only relieves pressure, but also sets up class level. The predecessor of the midterm exam was very angry. Wang Lin looked at the painting, and the movement in his heart dissipated like a mist. Friendship support made me wake up. Art is not a burden, it is the key to balance. He smiled and said, thank you everyone. This series will be given to the team. At noon the next day, at the class meeting, Kuyu stood on the lecture stage, and the poster projected Wang Lin's paintings, and the blue light was filled with blue lights. Students, we have been doing the lights before the Christmas festival. Our class teacher. Wang Lin's emotional light series, telling the story of the senior year. Who is participating? Lights, release the pressure. The class was silent at first, and someone said, I'm busy with the exam, but the galaxy of the painting flashed, and the golden light was turned infecting everyone. Li Kai, the opponent in the last competition, the first move, I'm pretty good at painting, I'm here to go. The team is creative and impressed. The girls approached, this vine is like our small group helping each other. I'm one. The whole class was full of registration, excited and humble words were like a tide, and Wang Lin's heart was warm. from moving around the school to motivating the whole class. This is my change. The fun is coming. Try projection in the evening, at the campus. As night falls, the cold wind blows away the fog, and LED lights line up, buzzing. Hui Qian pressed the switch, and the first picture faded in. The gray campus cracked the blue light, the square was like a blue ocean, and the audience was amazed. Wow, is this the solitary of the school student? I feel so much. The second picture was red vines squirmed, the light was like a heartbeat, and Kuyu shouted, the light of mutual help. The whole audience was thunderous. The third galaxy roving, the formula tree is flashing around the gold, the night sky seems to be bright, the galaxy illuminates the playground, the shadows of the apricot trees sway, the warm fragrance of lights in the air and the laughter of classmates. Li Kai patted Wang Lin's shoulder and said, awesome. This creativity has never been so bright in the campus. Yutong organized a group to commend the society and put on a self-made badge, Wang Lin, Art Society MVP. Your paintings shine us. Everyone surrounded him. Kuyu smiled and said, the team is successful, Wang Lin is the soul. Ziyuan hugged him, brother, balanced. Let's cover you in the exam. Wang Lin took the badge, and his heart was like a vine, art and academics, and friendship made me fly. The event preview ended, the lights dimmed, and the lights were left on the square. The classmates dispersed in 3 looking forward to the official night in a low voice. Kuyu grabbed Wang Lin, tomorrow will be repeated, physics will be stinging. Your paintings give you a sense of spirit, and we will also give you strength. Ziyuan blinked, on the eve of the climax, be ready to burn. Wang Lin clicked his head, the night wind blew his face, the starry sky became brighter, and the road ahead was like a light, waiting to burn. The cold wind of winter night comes from the window diamonds, scattering the warm fragrance of lights left in the campus, and it cannot dispel Wang Lin's heart's heat. He lay on the dormitory bed, the tent lights were still lit, and the physical notes were scattered all over the ground, like headless battle scenes. There were only 3 days left when the midterm exam was over. My father and mother's phone was just shutting down, and her language was filled with heavy pressure of staying calm and not getting into trouble. The preview of the lighting event is still there, but now it looks like a fog is separated. He rubs his eyes and his heart is as white as a tide. I think I'm balanced, why is the pressure like a monster, and I can't let go? When transferred here, it was a new painting, and now it is full of cracks. The formulas and materials in the brain mixed into a group, and he turned over and finally sank into the dream. In the dream, everything goes back to the first day of school transfer. At the entrance of the classroom, Qiuyang was cold. He stood there with his book bag on his back, like a lonely boat flying into the storm. Kuyu's smile was far away, Yutong's pull turned into a phantom, and the long-lasting blood was blowing like a flame. The classmates around him were brushing the questions with a low head, his eyes were as empty as a machine. He stretched out his hand to hold the painting, but he only grabbed a handful of sand. The pressure was like a dark tide, flooding the campus, the cloth was broken, the material turned into a blood-red shackle, tightening his neck. You don't deserve. He whispered his father's voice in his ears, mixing the private words in the class, school student, painting guy, dragging his back legs. He thrust, his chest hurt, and he couldn't breathe like a drowning. The lonely chill was like a knife cutting, and he shouted in a dream, but he couldn't make any sound. Wang Lin suddenly woke up, full of cold sweat, and the dormitory clock ticked 3 points. The moonlight outside the window was like frost rising, making the notebook white. He sat up panting, his heart beat like a drum, and his heart flashed. That was not the past, but the shadow of the present. The pressure is not an enemy, it is me who doesn't control it. He groped and grabbed the painting and colored pen at the head of the bed, and his fingers were shaking. The golden finger talent wakes up like an old friend, and his emotions come out. He pulled out black, gray and dark blue colors, and the brush danced wildly on the painting cloth. First, the dark tide in the dream, the waves swelled and swallowed the lonely boat, then, a orange light broke from the boat body, like the warmth when I first met Kuyu, gradually expanded into vines and scattered the dark tide, marking the tacit understanding of the group, the red fire of the far-reaching rain, the rainbow of the rain, and Hui Qian's light. In the center, the pressure monster turned into an abstract giant beast, but the orange light gathered into a slayer, piercing the beast body, and the broken pieces turned into stars, full of paintings. When the painting was finished, the sky turned white, his arms were sore, and he felt his chest lighter. This painting of the Lord's light is not only an excuse, but also a declaration: I am not a slave, I am the master of the painting. After dawn, Wang Lin carried the painting to the library, and the group of 3 was already waiting there. Kuyu's tail swayed in the morning light. She pushed the question bank and said with a sound, "Wang Lin, morning." Finally, the sprint, the simulation test was noon today, and the 3 of us were all opened. The combination of physics and chemistry, I organized the timetable, attacked the chemistry key in the morning, and the physical circuit in the afternoon. Jihao rubbing your eyes, the eyes were flashing with bloody eyes. My memory practice was all night last night, chemistry was like a war alliance, and electronics were like soldiers changing defense. Wang Lin, your face was a poor color, dream? Wang Lin clicked and opened the painting. Share something. Last night, I dreamed and returned to school alone, and I was forced to do so. The force exploded, like a dark tide flooding me. But when the painting came out, it dominated it. Look, this monster is anxious, your vines are my light. Kuyu leaned closer and glared. Wang Lin, this painting is too cruel. The dark tide's level is like our 3rd-year high school test, but orange, the piercing of the sword, is simple and enchanting, the god of the mind. Share it with the whole class, when the mental picture is on the verge of the spirit. Ziyuan slapped the table. Yes. My connection wants to add this painting, and the chemistry key is instantly alive. The electronic cloud is like a fragment of stars, paired with super stable. Brother, you have changed, from being pressed to being killed. Before the noon simulation exam, Kuyu sent a message to Lai Yutong and Hui Qian for discussion. In the art club activity room, the texture was savory. Yutong had short hair erect, and excitedly picked up the painting cloth. Wang Lin, this the Lord's light is awesome. I had insomnia last night, and I looked at your old work in the forum. Now this new picture is definitely the core of the light. The trainer walked. Hui Qian, the projection was intensified. Hui Qian's long hair was loose, adjusting the equipment, and the projector buzzed. Okay, the painting was swept, drawing in, the dark tide fades in, the audience thinks it is suppressed, and then the orange vines burst out, moving like a heartbeat, monsters break into galaxies, and the lights are all bright. The theme of training is collective ejaculation, and 20 people from the Group Plus class try to interact. Wang Lin, you lead the small lights to share the dream. The indoor lights are dimmed, and the LED lights are lined up in half a circle, and the air is mixed with the touch of metal and materials. Everyone sat around, and Yutong opened her mouth first. When the pressure was high, my dream paintings were broken, like Wang Lin's dark tide. Blush. She tilted orange on the small lamp, and the lights lit up, reflecting the rainbow arc. Kuyu continued. I organized a group, afraid of losing control, and it was like a monster biting me. But the team light was resolved. Her green leaves were smeared, and the lights were flashing. Ziyu and Hanhuo, there are times when the blood is hot and blood burns itself, but fortunately there are brothers. The whole scene is full of low words. Some people share family urging, some people say there is panic and competition, the sound of the smears, the anxiety is like a dark tide receding, and the light of the galaxy shines bright inside. Hui Qian adjusts the lighting effect. Look, the collective anxiety is transformed. This picture is not only a painting, but also a talism. The mock exam in the afternoon was open in the classroom, and the lights were buzzing. When the test paper was released, everyone's breathing was heavy. Wang Lin is focused on the comprehensive chemistry topics. The electronic cloud matches like the stars in the painting, and his flying fast dreams and aspirations are in vain. Kuyu's time chart is like a blue picture, which organizes the answer structure. Ziyuan's memory iron smashes the details. In the physical circuit issue, the dark tide pressure surged, but an orange drama appeared in his brain, and the speed writing field was drawn, and the direction of the electric movement was clear at a glance. The sound of the ginger rose, and the 3 of them walked out of the exam. The sun was dazzling and the winter wind blew away the fog. Caillou hugged Wang Lin the first time. I feel stable. The key issue of chemistry, I use your picture to push it off. The electronics are like vines. All right. Ziyuan shouted, physics reversed. Monsters think about fragments, and the efficiency formula is firmly remembered. Wang Lin, your drawings are not only relieved, but also learn the core. After half an hour of completion, it was posted. All three members of the group scored high. Wang Lin has double scores in physics, Caillou has the first place in class, Ziyuan has recorded the memory of the science. The whole class was boiling, and the classmates said, Wang Lin's picture is amazing. We also painted it, midterm. Li Kai patted Wang Lin's shoulder and said, clothing, art transformation, borrow my copying. The highlight of friendship came, and the three of them surrounded the corridor, and Caillou's eyes were wet, frozen from school to school. We are not just the group as family. Wang Lin, your transformation is flying with us. Ziyuan hugged him, brother, the pressure slave? No. You are the master, our sword. Wang Lin smiled, and his heart was relaxed. His heart is no longer being crushed by pressure. I dominate the Pa. In the afternoon, the lights were upgraded, and the lights arrays on the square had been formed, and they were buzzing and standing by in the cold wind. Yutong organized the community wiping, Hui Qian tried to project, Caillou La class participation, and Ziyuan memorized the lights. Wang Lin's The Lord's light projected on the large screen, the dark tide faded in, and the whole scene was silent. The orange vines burst out, and the palm sound exploded, the monsters shattered the galaxy, and the light was bright, and the square was like a silver river. The classmates shouted, image is 10,000 years old. Enjoy bye. The collective anxiety was resolved, and everyone shared it in a whisper, laughter mixed with the light warmth, and the pressure turned into force. Hui Qian blinked. 2 days after the official event was over, and on the eve of the Christmas day, climax was prepared. Wang Lin, your painting will light up the campus, but the news will change, budget or adjustment. The thoughts were like dark tides. Wang Lin's heart beat faster, but the team's eyes were determined. No matter what, we will dominate together. The night wind blows, the lights reflect the face, the midterm exam and the lights are waiting for the last try. On the campus on a winter night, the cold wind blew over it lightly, carrying the fragrance of silk, osmanthus, and could not blow away the thrills and tension in the air. The LED lights arrays have been completely opened, like rows of rainbow warriors waiting to be bright, with the buzzing low sounds roaring in the night. Hui Qian stood in front of the temporary console, her long hair was blown by the wind, and her fingers quickly hit the keyboard, and the red lights of the projector were uncertain. Wang Lin leaned against the column beside him, his heartbeat still not calmed down. The afternoon school variables made his brain buzz all day long. Budget adjustment? Lighting effect reduction? All the projections failed. Isn't the activity on the eve of the climax soaked? Hui Qian, what's going on here at the school? Is the budget really cut? Caillou walked over, Ma Wei swayed under the road light, holding a list of participation in his hand, and the voice was filled with the class leader's training. Ziyuan followed behind, pushing the lens, and swept the light with a hot and bloody eyes. Cut it, chop it, our group's tacit understanding is not reliable. Wang Lin, you're the Lord's light as a soul, the projection is stable. Yutong ran from the group's seat, with short hair flying, and the camera in his hand swayed. Don't panic. The teacher just confirmed that the budget was a little tune, but the core light effect was preserved. All the school students came, hundreds of people. Hui Qian, you the magical operation, save the scene. Hui Qian turned around, her smile softly and calmed down. She pressed the last button, and the projector green light lit up. It's stable. The school agreed to work overtime, so I pulled the backup of the photography club. The event was officially launched, and the light show at 7:30:000. Now we will interact with the ring. Everyone will divide the group, slap the small lights, and share the pressure. Wang Lin, your painting projection is used as a pressure axis to ensure the dream broadcast. The square suddenly became hot, and the senior high school students were close to the lamp base, and the air was mixed with the sweet and sour taste of the material and the warm fragrance of the hot cocoa. The teachers patrolled the scenes around, and the students put out small brushes and tubes of paint, laughing and low words were like a tide. Hui Qian's plan allowed the whole school to participate, not only art clubs and classes, but also the lower-level students in the first and second grades of high school are also coming to enjoy themselves. Some people were pumpkin ghost faces, and some people were rainbow lines. When the lights light up, colorful spots reflect every young face. Wang Lin watched this scene, and the thoughts in his heart dissipated like a fog. It turns out that the change is not the end, but the beginning. He took the initiative to send a freshman in high school. Come on, it's your story. This light is not a decoration, it's your light. The boy blinked and turned yellow. I'm afraid that I'll get too much pressure in high school, like a dark tide. But looking at your senior year's paintings, I think I can survive. Wang Lin smiled, and his heart was alone. From being alone to being lighted up the whole school, this transformation is really like a painting layer dyed. The learning group was not idle, they were compiling the last knowledge in the tent on the side. Kuyu opened a chemistry notes, and the tail of the horse shook lightly. Tomorrow the midterm exam, we will quickly brush the interactive gap. Wang Lin, you can write the organic reaction path, you have a long ambition, and you want to balance the constant. I will organize the steps. Come on, this esterification question. The lights in the tent are soft, the smell of the material comes in, mixing with the ink fragrance of the book page. Ziyuan grabbed the pen and said, esterification is like friendship matching, acid and alcohol collide, water and esters. K equals, ester, water, / acid, OL, remember the balance point. Wang Lin took the painting cloth, and the galaxy of light appeared in the brain. He flew fast smear, molecules like vines, acid red alcohol blue, water molecules evaporate ash, ester golden light released, arrow marking rate. Look, this path is like our activities, from confusion to balance. Kuyu pointed her head, her eyes lit up, perfect fusion. Repeat is not boring. The three of them discussed in a low voice, and the formula lighted the brain like a light. Tacit understanding made the pressure easier. Suddenly, a small episode came. A group of senior high school students rushed to the main projection area, plastered a large cloth, and accidentally knocked down Hui Qian's control line. The projector blinked the lights and the lights were half darkened. The whole scene was quiet, and someone yelled, "Is it bad? Pour the soup during the event." Kuyu's eyebrows were tight, and the squad leader instinctively went online. Don't panic, I'll go to the stable. Ziyuan jumped up, and the hot blood thunderbolt exploded. I remember the line diagram. Hui Qian, tell me the interface. Hui Qian squatted down to check. Her long hair was scattered, and her voice was rapid. The main line is short-circuited, and the power supply is not used after the budget adjustment. Wang Lin's heartbeat accelerated, and the dark tide was flooding, but he saw the team's eyes and took a deep breath. Wait, I'll draw a temporary picture. Shihao, describe the line. Kuyu, organize the crowd without any worries. He grabbed the color pen and slammed on the big whiteboard. The main circuit of the red line is like a torch, the blue line is like a vine, the short circuit point marks orange X, and the arrow is flashing with golden light. The golden fingers are swirling, emotional transformation lines, and image three-dimensional like circuit boards. Look, it's installed here, and the dynamic light effect is preserved. Ziyuan stared at the picture, his eyes rounded. Awesome. My memory technique is added, interfaces A to B, avoid point C. He quickly connected the wire, his fingers were as flexible as the memory formula. Kuyu shouted in the crowd, classmates, continue to interact. The lights are minor faults, fix them immediately. Her organization is like a blue wave and stabilizes the whole scene. The second-year high school student apologized and awkwardly, I'm sorry, we are too excited. Kuyu smiled, it's okay, let's do it together, act as a resolution episode. Ziyuan connected th. Yutong was right after this moment, she carried the camera through the crowd, and the sound of her heart was like a heartbeat to capture the moment. Wang Lin, smile. This episode is absolutely. She approached the group and looked at the circuit diagram on the whiteboard. Look, this is the team's memory, the light failure, brother repairs it, like every problem in the senior year of high school. The doors flashed, recording Kuyu's warmth in the crowd, the attention of the remote connection, and the confidence in Wang Lin's picture. Yutong blinked. These photos are not only for me, but for our youthful photo album. You were alone on the first day of school. Where are you now? The star of the whole school. Sheila Wang Lin turned around and said to the scene. The lights were bright, the color layers smeared by classmates, and the laughter was mixed with the voice. Wang Lin looked at himself in the mirror, his eyes went from confusion to calm, and a warm current surged in his heart. The capture of the rain tongue will last forever, and friendship freezes the power like a photo. At 7:30, the light show was shocked. Hui Qian stood on the stage, and the voice in the microphone was clear. College students, teachers, welcome to the night of youth lighting. The pressure in the third year of high school is like a dark tide, but we have light. Now, Wang Lin's painting projection lights up the campus. The whole scene was quiet, the lights on the square were dark, and the night sky was like an ink curtain. The projection screen lights up, and the first light of the Lord fades into it. The dark tide storms, swallowing the lonely boat, and the audience sucks in a whisper. Someone whispers, "This is our anxiety." Then, the orange vines cracked from the boat body, moving like a heartbeat. The red fire and blue waves gathered, the monsters shattered into stars, and the lights were all lit. The dream of the galaxy is emitting, the golden light fills the vast building, and the LED lines flow like the river bank, reflecting the swaying shadows of the apricot trees, and the warm fragrance and surprise are everywhere in the air. Wang Lin's paintings were alive, and the emotions added by the layer were like smoke. All the teachers and students in the school were venting pressure in the sea of lights. Someone shouted, "Black tide by. We win." Senior high school students approached the lights, wiped the last pen, and laughed out loud. The younger students applauded in circles, and the teachers smiled. Li Kai shouted, "Wang Lin, this beautiful awesome." Before the exam, the military was full of energy. The whole scene was like a boiling rainbow, the pressure evaporated in the light. Everyone turned around and wished the upcoming exam success. On the refreshing wave, Wang Lin stood on the platform and watched this scene, and his heart was liberated. He was no longer the solitary of the school student. Art and friendship became eternal power, and the exam was no longer a monster, but a painting that could dominate. Hui Qian approached, her long hair shining under the light. She held Wang Lin's hand and said softly, "Wang Lin, thank you for your painting. This activity not only highlights the campus, but also deepens our connection. In my senior year of high school, I thought pressure was a black hole, but planned all of this to let me find light. You go from the edge to the core, and we move together." Her eyes were moist, and her contribution was as warm as a light, and the collective emotions were as deep as a galaxy. Kuyu and Ziyuan came up, and Kuyu hugged Hui Qian. "Sister Hui Qian, you are the hero behind the scenes. Small group plus community plus you, an enemy team." Ziyuan punched his palm. "Yes. The exam tomorrow, we will get up." Yutong's last shot, the climax is frozen. Youth is free from regrets. Wang Lin looked at them, and the growth in his heart turned like a golden light. The heart is completely liberated, and friendship is not a visitor, but an eternal painting, which depicts the future. The light show continues in the shouting, the galaxy roams, the sky is like a dream, and it transitions to tomorrow's test site. When everyone dispersed, they looked forward to it. The victory is in sight. Wang Lin raised his paintings on his back, and the night wind blew his face, and the lights ahead were bright. The morning light of winter comes in from the examination room window, making the test paper under the light shine with a cold white light. Wang Lin sat in his seat, his pen trembling slightly, not tight, but the warmth of the light show last night was still walking around his fingertips. He took a deep breath, and the projection of the galaxy on the square appeared in his brain. The moment when the black tide broke into golden light, the whole school cried like a tide. Kuyu's hug, Ziyuan's fist, Yutong's quick sound, Hui Qian's gentle handshake. The warm fragrance of those lights seemed to be surfing the tip of the nose, and the pressure was no longer a monster, but a mastered cloth. He smiled and thought, when I came to school, I thought the senior year of high school was a prison, and now, it is the light of the night sky for us to light up together. The sound of the calves sounded and the trial paper was released. The first subject was physics. Wang Lin stared at the main topic of electromagnetic induction, and the formula was like a lamp swaying in his brain. He quickly wrote pictures: the field blue-red intercourse, the electric arrow is flashing with golden light, and the pen is as scattered as ink when solving the problem. Outside the window, frost flowers melted on the glass, ticking like a rhythm of heartbeat. He felt that his heart was as calm as the lake, without dark tides, only the glands of the galaxy. During the exam, the breathing sounds of classmates one after another. Some people lower their heads and brush their sun acupoints and low their anger. Wang Lin glanced at Kuyu in the front row. Her tail swayed lightly, her fingers plotted the structure on the draft paper, and her organization was as stable as a blue wave. The answer was as stable as a blue wave, the ambition was in the middle, and his eyes were as sharp as a torch, thinking about the story that made him fly quickly. Although they sit separately, their tacit understanding is like a tangible line, connecting each question. Wang Lin passed by alone. Last night's lights were not just a show, but our guardian. When the pressure comes, pierce it with a painting pen. The chemistry paper was connected, and the organic reaction path was like a vine. He imagined an esterified golden light radius, and an electronic cloud was paired with a stable and solid pen. Time flies, noon sounds longer, and everyone walks out of the exam with a heavy heart. On the campus forest road, the winter sun was warmer, and the classmates whispered together, "The cycle of physics is difficult." Wang Lin carried his book bag and walked to the agreed location, a chair outside the library. The members of the group each fought their own battles. Kuyu's first appearance was shining with sweat on her face. "Wang Lin, Ziyuan, wait for me. Physics is stable, and the table method saves the scene." Ziyuan kept up, pushed his eyes and smiled with a hot and bloody smile. "Chemistry is full of presumption. If you want to fight, your quick picture was cooked last night." The three of them sat down. The dishes in the lunchbox were still hot, and the air was mixed with the fragrance of rice and the refreshing winter wind. They didn't rush to eat, so they shared their experience first. "I thought the circuit was stuck, and my brain was full of light failures. I just drew the arrow and it was smooth." Wang Lin said. Kuyu pointed. "Yes, T." In the afternoon, the essay papers were opened, the image layer of ancient prose was tilted, and landscape paintings were floating in Wang Lin's brain. The lonely boat was moving forward in the blue waves, the emotional spine on the shore was marked, and the interpretation was flowing like a poem. In the historical issue, the long-term time has come alive, with the fire of the ducks and the blue light of the magic. He imagines the story of long-lasting ambitions, and pushes the cause and effect into one go. Kuyu's organizational structure made her well-organized writing. The long-awaited memory of the iron was smashed into the year. Although the three of them were separated, their hearts were like lights and lit up each other. The sound of the ginger finally begins, the test gate opens, and the winter sun sets westward, stretching everyone's shadow. When Wang Lin walked out, he felt his chest relaxed. The loneliness on the first day of school was like a remote gray fog, and now only the flames of confidence were burning. Reunited at the coffee shop on the side of the square, the three ordered hot chocolate and sandwiches. The lights at the light show were not yet unfolded, and the lights were covered on the table, as if they were in a low voice. Kuyu took a bite of the sandwich and Matai shook her head. "Share it." The image of the article, "I use your vision to describe life, and the mountains and rivers are very smooth." Shihao drank cocoa in a big gulp. "In the hot game, historical chronology, your long book saves me. From friction to the present, our small group is like a machine, and it is indecisive to fight." Wang Lin smiled and pushed the small copy of last night's The Light of the Lord to the table. "This picture is a symbol of success. During the exam, the dark tide came. I just wanted the orange slab to pierce and the pressure broke into stars. Thank you for letting me turn from a student into one of our members." Kuyu's eyes were warm and she held his hand. "Wang Lin, you are not just a member, but a soul. When I introduced you on the day of school, I felt that you had light. Now, the whole class agrees." Ziyuan slapped the table. "Yes. Your paintings became a class-level picture, and the forum was popular with the art artifact. After the exam, we have a big meal." At noon the next day, the bells announced by the Qingyu were knocking, and the teaching building announcement column was filled with people. The winter wind blew the hair, and the cold smell of pens and low spirits in the air. Qiu pulled back to the front, pulled back the 3 pieces of score, and stared at her eyes. Look. All the members of the group are outstanding. Wang Lin, double scores in physics and chemistry, top 5 in history. Our group is 3rd in grades. My group is broken in memory and scheming, top 10 in total. The whole class was boiling, and the classmates came up. Someone shouted, Wang Lin's little group of cows. Art plus learning, no enemy combination. Li Kai walked over and stretched out his hand. Congratulations, I'll use your pictures at the end of the next period. Wang Lin shook hands. His heart was as refreshing as the material. From the middle and downstream to the full point, this transformation was like a galaxy explosion. The climax came. The teacher walked into the crowd, and the senior director patted Wang Lin's shoulder. Wang Lin, classmates, in this midterm exam, your group not only has outstanding scores, but your artistic learning methods have been recognized by the whole school. The paintings of the light activities not only relieve stress, but also stimulate learning. The school decides to promote your vision. I think the picture to the lower grade, as a teaching case. Students who transfer students, you are the same. The teacher's affirmation is like the blessing of golden light. The whole audience was thunderous. Wang Lin's face was red, and his inner climax was full of excitement. Art is no longer a burden, but a recognized bridge, from the edge to the leader. This is my transformation. Reunited in the art club activity room, Yutong and Hui Qian were waiting early, and the short-haired girl danced on the camera. Wang Lin. Become a god. Come, I wish you a happy photo. Hui Qian's long hair was loose and posted on the photo album. I have compiled my youth record, from your autumn scenery paintings on the first day of school to the galaxy of lights, all in it. Qiu and Jiao, you also add your photos. Indoor the material was smolder, and the memory was filled with reminiscence on the painting stand. Everyone sat around. Qiu opened her mouth first, and her voice was as crisp as a summary speech. The team's journey, from the awkward introduction of Wang Lin's school transfer, to the friction of the group, the movement of the bottle, and the lights were resolved. We walked through the dark tide and lighted the galaxy. When we formed the group, we would hear it. Wang Lin, your paintings were given to the soul, the passionate blood of the ambitions were given to the direction. This is not end as the starting point of youth. The long-term aspiration is coming, and the eyes look forward to the future. I am still in my senior year, and we continue to burn in the finals and in the further studies. Wang Lin, brother, from the death to the visual connection, your paintings have made me grow. In the future, we will join a prestigious school together and paint a bigger galaxy. Yutong took pictures in a row and smiled. Record this moment. My camera captures your friend's love, from Yutong Wang Lin to the club, to the lights of the whole class now. Hui Qian, your lights are magic, our youth will be registered forever. Hui Qian smiled and turned on the last page of the photo album. The light show climax, the whole staff held hands, and the starry sky reflected. For these days, the pressure has changed and the friendship has been strengthened. Wang Lin, from being alone to the leader, you have changed, we all follow us. Wang Lin looked at the book and felt full of confidence and gratitude. I was like a blank cloth when I was transferred to school, and now I am full of colors. Art and learning, friendship make them merge. I am no longer a slave, but a master. The inner energy was like a warm current. He stood up and hugged everyone. Thank you. This is not my victory, it is ours. In the future, we will wipe it off together. The laughter in the room was rumbling, the sunset was rising from the window, the paintings were reflected, and the campus lights lit up, like a warning sign of the endless youth lights. The winter heat has not completely dissipated, and the apricot leaves in the campus have fallen, leaving only the branches of light shining lightly in the wind, like the sound of the 3rd year of high school. The red color of the midterm exam was posted on the announcement column and was already rubbed by the fingers of his classmates. Wang Lin would look at it twice every time he passed by. The double numbers were no longer an out of reach, but a color that he painted with his hands. My father's phone came 3 times. First, he was surprised, then he was ding. Son, stay calm, try again at the end of the period. He smiled and replied, Dad, I'm stable. After shutting down, he touched the cloth in his bookcase, and the anxiety in his heart from school to the current calmness, as warm as winter sun, and it slid into his bones. At noon this day, a colorful belt of "Go to Say Goodbye to the Party" was opened at the door of the art club's activity room, and the red and yellow paper swayed in the wind, making a light rustling sound. Yutong sat up early, and a wild flower was tied up on her short hair. She yelled with her arms, "Wang Lin! Kuyu! Jiao! Hui Qian! All the art fans in the class are here. This is the starting party for the second half of the senior year. It warms our growth carpets and wipes the last big painting." The interior was as hot as the new year, the flavor of the ingredients was so scattered that it could be squeezed out of water. The painting stand was full of old works, Chiojing campus, historical long curtains, and the galaxy vines, which were all their memories. More than 20 classmates in the class were cured. Some brought soda and melon seeds, some discussed the final pre-order, and the air was filled with sweet fragrance and smile. Li Kai also came, leaned against the door, and curled his lips. "Wang Lin, this party is not bad. If you give me some information, I will give you a competitive friendship. Kuyu walked in, Ma Tai was untied, her long hair was disguised easily, and she gave Wang Lin a class photo, and her voice was light and quick. "Wang Lin, I'm off the squad leader. The teacher just announced that the new squad leader is Li Kai, and I can finally relax my voice. During the days of the group, it was like carrying a mountain, but with you, I climbed up." She blinked, and there was a lot of freedom to untidy in her eyes. Ziyuan followed behind, pushing his eyes and making a hot and bloody sex. "The class honor dream has come true. Our class first place in the midterm exam, and the teacher Sunoro's final collective award. Wang Lin, your vision is promoted to the whole school, and the top students are convinced. Come on, fuck." He lifted up the soda bottle and touched Wang Lin's. The foam overflowed and fell on the floor, like a smoke fire of a long time. Hui Qian adjusts the small projector in the corner, her long hair reflects the lights, and she turns and smiles. "The lights will last forever in the campus. The school will decide to fix our LED light array in the square and light up continuously until the graduation season. It will automatically open at 7 o'clock every night, and the projection will spread your paintings. The Black Tie Galaxy is now a campus magazine, with a lot of pressure. When a freshman comes to take a look, there will be light." Her words are like a warm current. Everyone clicks the head, and Yutong clapped happily. "Sister Hui Qian is awesome. My promotion plan is also online. The campus forum opens the art relief column, and Wang Lin's painting is the cover. In the future, I will continue to be in the community, bring low-grade dungs to make art change the daily life of the campus." The party officially began, and the large-scale painting opened in the center, dazzlingly white, like a youthful blank waiting for the electricity to change. Yutong shouted, "Rules, rolls are flowing, and the wind is warm." Starting from the day Wang Lin transferred to school, everyone added a story. Everyone was in circles. The first one was Kuyu. She pulled out blue colors and brushed it lightly. "Blue waves are the day I introduced Wang Lin. From strangers to small groups, the beginning of the organization." Chicho connected, and the red torch blew up, the friction of heat and blood. The library was fighting, but the fire burned out a tacit understanding. Li Kai Tian green line, competition friends, the competition reverses, now we team up. A girl in the second year of high school, Huang Arc, the light show interacts, "Your galaxy saves my anxiety." In a low voice, some people share family pressure, some people talk about panic in school. The material layer is added, and the paintings are turned into a title picture. The gray-blue edge is the first lonely, the central golden light exchange team, and the vines extend into a galaxy. When he reached Wang Lin, he took the brush, touched the moisture-filled material with his fingers, and a warm current surged in his heart. "My heart is as white as a tide. When I was turning the school, I felt like I was falling into the deep, and my exam was as anxious as a tide, and I couldn't breathe. Paintings are life-saving straws, and I am afraid of being taken into account." Kukiyua's warmth, the long-lasting blood, the pull of Yutong, and Huiqian's lights made me climb from the edge to the center. Art is not escape, it is strength. Friendship is not travelers, it is the green of life. Now, I am as confident as a master of paintings, turning from anxiety to calmness. This is my gift of youth. He took a deep breath, his golden fingers opened his talent, and his emotions burst out. He first added an orange slab, pierced the gray fog from the center of the painting, symbolizing the dominant pressure. Then, the layer added the final painting youth transformation picture. On the left is the school's autumn scenery, the lonely boat shook in the blue waves. In the middle, the small group of 3 people were holding hands, the red and green light intertwined, and the vines climbed the mountain to test the mountain. On the right is the galaxy light, the school's lights are moving, and golden flowers are placed on the edge. Each petal hides a story: Kuyu's dissolution, the far-reaching honor, the promotion of Yutong, and the eternal existence of Hui Qian. The picture is not rigid, the color is dyed like light and shadow, the touch is sticky and free, and the heat of creation is spread in the air. This painting is not only the ending, but also the declaration: changes are not the end, but the eternal smear. After finishing the painting, the whole scene was silent, and then the sound of his palm burst out. Yutong's eyes were wet. Wang Lin, this final work highlights our hearts. Look, my camera is in the pedals. Kuyu approached and patted his shoulder. Your electric changes are flying with the whole class. After leaving the class leader, I can finally draw pictures. Don't just think about formulas. Ziyuan shouted, class honor, this painting is a proof. In the future, we will build a learning plus art community. Hui Qian projected the painting on the wall. Golden light flash, the light will last forever, so use this picture to make a new cycle. The campus will remember our youth. Li Kai pointed out, borrow the power, I will use your visual picture to sting at the end of the period. The classmates rushed up, some added the last one, and some shared their outlook. After graduation, we will meet in Beijing and Shanghai. Help each other together. Friendship is green, don't be afraid of the college entrance examination. The lowly words are like warm wind, the paintings are full of cloth, and the pressure turns into a rainbow. The pleasure came, and Yutong suddenly pulled everyone up, surprising. The school arts festival just came out. Wang Lin, the best artist in the 3rd year of high school. She took out the prize and a box of professional materials from the drawer. The teacher walked in and smiled and said, Wang Lin, your paintings have become the spirit of the school, congratulations. The whole class, this is the team's victory. The whole venue called out, Kuyu, Ziyuan, Yutong, Hui Qian, and the team hugged Wang Lin, and the warm current was like a tide. He felt a warm chest and a refreshing orgasm in his heart. From anxiety to school transfer to the award-winning leader, this embrace is a round and powerful seal. The power of friendship is like a galaxy, illuminating every inch of the heart. Everyone laughs and forms a group, soda foam is flying, and melon seeds are scattered all over the ground. When the party was over, it was already dusk, and the sunset was coming in from the window, reflecting the gold of the painting. When everyone was cleaning up, Kuyu said in a low voice, Wang Lin, thank you, letting senior high school not only take the exam, but also the change of electricity. Ziyuan patted his back, brother, get together, and get along. Yutong slapped the camera, records will last forever. Hui Qian smiled, the lights will wait for us to come back. Wang Lin looked at them, his heart was as calm as a lake. Jiaoqing was once a dark tide, but now it is a confident blue sky. Friendship is a green island that nourishes the future. He smiled, and his eyes were as bright as the sun. Wait together, you will have no regrets in youth. The laughter in the room was lit, the lights of the campus lights lit up, the galaxy will last forever, and the road ahead will be clear.